remade every mob better in Minecraft. Let's make this Endermite super realistic. Endermites may not be real, but if they were, I'm thinking a bug-like body and legs, one big creepy eye, some pendulum feelers around the tail and face, and some shading and extra color for some stripes. Look at that alien nest Endermite. This totem of undying will become a powerful angelic totem. To move around, it will need these beautiful wings. A halo on top so you know it's only up to good deeds. Shaded in to look like solid gold. Who needs two eyes? Not this totem. Duplicate the wings. Is two enough? Nah, let's make it four. Now that's a totem that never dies.
Well, I guess with Soldier we could make Master Chief from Halo. Roll his head off and stand this piece of beef upright. Place on a base armor color. Add the Spartan Super Soldier armor texture. Build out this intake suit on the back. Now beef up these shoulder bits and beef up his legs. Then pull the armor all around this cow here, and we could just leave the visor wide open.
I'm going to completely turn this slime from green to gold. Bet you didn't see that coming. First, I'm going to make this gold cube and give it a gelatinous outer layer. Every single slime needs to have a derpy little face, and I'm also adding these spikes and rocks to really give it some life. You already know by now, I gotta add a little golden crown for it to wear. Now I'll just add a couple of rocks here and a few rocks over there. Even better, I'll texture its entire body to look like a block of gold. And there you have it, the most beautiful golden slime. Now it's time to make the Iron Golem better by turning it into a cyberpunk golem. And to do that, we'll need to give it robot arms. Then paint the whole thing gray, like a robot, and some pieces coming off of it are going to be like metallic panels too. I wasn't quite satisfied with the gray I was using, so I went this color instead. And then powered it with a bright blue energy core. Plop in some eyes like this, then texture in that big ol' Iron Golem nose. I thought it would be cool to give it this Tesla coil backpack because, well, why not? And with some metallic spikes here and there, I think our futuristic Iron Golem has gotten quite a bit better. But let's see how much we really like it in game. Now let's make a Diodon out of this pig. These animals were huge, so we'll need to reshape those legs for power and speed. Make it a little bit more top-heavy for ramming into things, and add some choppers into a long snout. Some ears, little fluff. I would not want to meet this guy in real life. We'll take this villager back to his prehistoric ancestry as a caveman. Give him a little hunch as he's still learning how to stand up straight. Change out those cotton clothes for animal skin. Add a cool tooth necklace from all of his hunts. Fix up that face a little. Now we'll need a beard and some wild hair. Finish it off with a heavy club and send him into the world. Let's make the ghast a realistic, ghostly, fire-shooting squid. Take this body and build it bigger. Now let's add a more squid-like color, but keep a lot of the ghostly features. And we can give it an all-seeing eye of ghastly. Make these tentacles just way longer and also far more realistic. It's still ugly, but we could make it cute by making Mickey Mouse. Blow his head off, then Mickey Mousify the classic face and the classic ears. Now for Mickey's body, just remove some extra spider legs. And we could actually just leave him crawling to keep that rat behavior, but add Mickey's red shorts. And put the classic yellow shoes onto each leg. The Minecraft snow golem is decent, but it's not amazing. Let's get rid of the bottom snowball and bring in a much bigger ball of snow. Then a real snowman hand is gonna look far more branch-like. And we're gonna have to keep this chilly boy warm. Let's add a scarf. One more snowball, the carrot for a nose, and a beautiful top hat. Now we'll make this ocelot into a saber-tooth. Your head's gonna need to be a little bit higher up with some thick legs for lunging and running at full speed. Look at that little head with his beefy big cat body. Now let's fix the head. Make it bigger and bulkier with a huge pair of fangs for taking down some prey. And no need for that super long tail anymore. Let's turn the pillager into a pirate. Every pirate needs the perfect pirate hat and some fancy duds. Make sure he's got a pirate beard and some pistols. Look at that pirate's coat. So cool. A few finishing touches and this guy is ready to sail the Minecraft seas. I'll start by making one of Minecraft's most useful Useless mobs, better, the best. Let's remove those bat ears. We can do a lot better. And this will be the start of the face with some bright green eyes and a purple snout. Let's go ahead and give it a mouthful of fangs too. And now for the ears. Look at these tiny little ones. Time to turn them long and awesome. To make this bat truly better though, we're going to need to give it a big and strong body with some clawed feet and a cool looking tail. Now for the wings. These little wings are not gonna fly. Get it? Fly. And I'm gonna make an awesome bat wing texture too. Turn it all purple and gray, then start going crazy on the shading. I went ahead and added some claws here and some there, but with some final details, I think our new and improved bat is just about ready. Let's see how it looks in Minecraft. Let's turn this spider eye into a fully living abomination. Create a red spear to start. The optic nerve will become this thing's tentacles. Darken it up to really give off that spider eye feel. And we can't forget the most important part, the eyeball. What if we had an infinitely returning arrow? I'm thinking like a bow and boomer arrow. Still gotta work out that name a bit. Bow is gonna need legs, so let's get more mileage out of its sticks. And now a couple of eyes should be all we need to bring this tool to life. Next we'll cross some arrows and delete some dimensions to get that boomerang shape. Add on 1, 2 faces, and now we've got that bow and arrow, rang, arrow, boom. Arrow, boom. I'm still working on it. Let's make a better evoker by turning it into a necromancer. Let's remove the head real quick, ouch, and give it some bright green eyes. The black and gold robes are cool, but I think we can do better. And I don't know why, but I gave it these really creepy fingers. This is already looking super cool, but we aren't done yet. Let's give it an evil spiked crown and a flowing crimson cape. I also put a small golden ring on his finger. And now let's reposition this arm and put a magical staff in his hand. He's gonna be controlling the dead, so here's a skull on top. Yeah, that is one mean-looking evoker. Let's see it in-game. Now I'm going to turn the dark and mysterious sculpt block into a sculpt spider. And I'm going to use all the deep dark blocks to make this one really come to life. These sculpt shrieker parts are going to look amazing as legs. So I'll keep copying them, cutting them down, and moving them to make them look just right. I also want to make it clear that this part up front is its head. Let's make it have bright blue eyes. With that finished, let's start working on the top of this mob. I decided to add the tendrils up here. Just a very creepy little touch. It looks a little bit abstract, and I can't tell whether I like it or if I hate it. But here it is. The sculpt mob is complete. Let's check it out in Minecraft. Let's turn this wolf into a woolly rhinoceros. As with all prehistoric mobs, bigger is better. Add that bulk. A nice dark brown base for the super woolly coat, some strong legs to support a super heavy body, just like a regular rhino. And we'll need to add a set of horns to its head, with the large curved one up front. A few finishing touches, and this woolly rhino is ready to go. This pig is going to be perfect for an ankylosaurus. Take his already chunky head and make it even chunkier. His already chunky body and make it even chunkier. And the ankylosaurus has hard spikes that run down either side, as well as all the way across the top, with a tail club they can literally use to whack anything. And these already chunky toes into super chunky dinosaur toes. Ooh, and eyes. This slime will be our rainbow slime. Of course, it's got to be all rainbow colors. And we'll have some extra slime just oozing out of the bottom. Now that looks like a slimy and squishy rainbow. Now this snow golem is a little too cute for my taste, so we're gonna make him a bit spooky. A menacing golem won't be scary at that height, so let's make him quite a bit taller. I'm gonna change the texture of this snow to look colder, replace the buttons it had before with new updated buttons, stretch out that head a bit to be a new pumpkin. I'll make this big orange cube that will eventually become his head. Then paint on a giant grin and some giant creepy eyes too. The stem needs to be a gross greenish color also. And to finish it off, I gave it bendy stick arms. Now this guy looks chilly. Next up, let's turn this golden carrot into a bunny carrot. Hopefully it doesn't try to eat itself. I created the carrot shape like this and then made these huge leaves coming out of the top. Then I curved them over to give them some dip and recolor the whole thing gold. I spent a lot of time making the golden carrot texture look good and then started working on the face. Right now, it kind of looks like a Mario power-up. The leaves of the carrot kind of look like they have these crimson streaks, so I added those. And to make it rabbit-like, I turned 2 of these leaves into ears. Now I think the adorable carrot is totally complete, but let's let's see it in game and find out for sure. Let's turn this evoker into a galactic evoker. I think we should give this evoker some wild white hair and wizardly beard. We'll up the galactic theme with some blue and purple skins like he's straight out of space. Upgrade those robes to something way fancier, covered in stars. And finish him off with galactic skin and some cool pants. This moose room will be our Moo Bloom. Let's start out by recoloring this red into a sunshine yellow. That looks like an omelet. Now we'll add a couple bright sunflowers on top of its back. We'll make this ender pearl a little gremlin creature. Make a good old green spear, build out these enderman arms, give it teeth that definitely need to be worked on by a dentist. And for the finishing touch, Eye of Ender eyes. What if this cute little salmon had a hunger for blood? Let's make a killer salmon shark. This fish is too small. Let's start by stretching it out. Make those fins razor sharp, take off that jaw and fill it with shark teeth. Those are some pearly whites. I would be terrified to find this thing swimming with me. Now let's turn a wolf into a scary canine of darkness. Separate the two halves of the body and give it a dark spine to connect the two. I'll also add some dark ribs right along this part. Let's recolor the entire wolf and give it horns. And I made the eyes red like this and made this spine area even creepier. For the feet, I added claws, of course. And now this creepy, lanky wolf is looking fierce. So let's check out this evil dog in game. We could make an actual skeleton push. Drop this, replace it with an actual leg bone. And this definitely looks like something you'd see at a doctor's office. Attach that there. Let's stick on a much better arm as well that actually has all 10 fingers and then a real human skull. This might be way too realistic. I want to start off with Minecraft's most iconic mob, the Creeper. Look at this guy. He's got absolutely nothing going for him. All he can do is, well, blow up. I'll change that. Let's start with the baby version. One of the most defining features of the Creeper is the lack of arms. And what if this baby Creeper didn't even have legs? So I went ahead and got rid of them and gave this baby Creeper a new snake body to slither around with. I wanted to make the Creeper texture more exaggerated for the baby version too, so I gave it these black spots. And the face totally needs a change up as well, because the Creeper isn't an evil, explosive machine yet. It has a cute little smile. I really like the idea of a baby Creeper that is pure and not just trying to kill the player. But after some final touches, I think our baby Creeper is ready. So let's make the evolved Creeper. We'll start with the normal Creeper, since this will be the next stage in the growth cycle. Being the evolved Creeper, it basically just needs to be a bigger and better version of the Creeper. This evolved Creeper should be a true threat to the players in the world. So let's start by exaggerating the length of the body and add these Creeper texture cubes to give it more depth and shape to its body. I got rid of the normal Creeper legs and gave it these new, more menacing ones. I realized that I started to make this Creeper almost like an insect though, but that gave me inspiration for the rest of the design. So I got to work with recoloring it and giving it some spines on the back. I thought it would be fitting for me to make this Creeper more, well, creepy. And after adding some red eyes and making the texture far better, the evolved Creeper is ready. Now for the final Creeper, the Elder Creeper. I want it to basically be the evolved Creeper, but decaying and full of explosive energy, as if it has just been building up for years. So I started with the evolved Creeper's model and went from there. You know how I focused on the limbs for the Creepers? Well, the Elder Creeper is going to be the only one that ever evolves to the point of having arms. It is the complete and ultimate Creeper. So I made those like praying mantis arms to stay true to the evolved Creeper concept. Then I made the face look withered, and I changed the eyes from red to blue. Over time, the body breaks down, gets darker, and starts to have energy flowing through it. My thought is that if a Creeper doesn't explode during all these growth cycles, it will have all that explosive power built up inside of it. It can't hold it forever, so this blue energy shows that it's so close to the end of its life cycle. I'm super happy with these Creepers, so let's see how they look in Minecraft. I've always hated how slept on the Enderman is. Let's do better. And I'll start by making a little baby Enderman. So everyone knows how tall the Enderman is. So for the baby, obviously, we want to make it short, like really, really short. So short that it is basically just a blob. But I wanted to make sure I kept the most iconic part of it, even as a baby, and that's the ability to hold blocks. So I gave this cute little grass block to hold on to in its hands. And I couldn't forget the purple eyes. Even a baby Enderman needs those. Okay, this looks great. Let's get started on the evolved Enderman. This guy will be stronger than the Enderman, but we won't go crazy. It's basically going to be like a predator version of the Enderman. Those skinny Enderman arms are going to get a lot bigger when evolved. He's going to need to be beefy. And the legs too, not cutting it. Evolving basically meant going to the gym every day. Now we need to fix the head. Usually, the Enderman just has a boring blank face. But when it evolves, it grows a defined jaw and jagged teeth to better hunt down players. I thought it would be awesome if I added these tendrils off the head. Make them real long and creepy. Then I realized how hard it is to actually see the Enderman though. So I wanted to add splashes of color. And nothing would fit better than this shade of purple. Now we just need that color flowing all through its body. As if end energy is starting to build up inside of it, making it stronger and stronger and stronger. You get the point. Now for the Elder Enderman. The frame of the evolved Enderman is perfect. So I'm going to use it as the base for what will be this crazy elemental Tempest Enderman. But we're going to need to change the head big time. Completely recolor the arms. My idea is that the Enderman couldn't handle the power of evolving and has been completely taken over by it. This Elder Enderman has become a host for this end energy. Now just a fuss, and it should be ready. Let's see our better Enderman in Minecraft. The Ghast is one of the creepiest and weirdest mobs in Minecraft, but there isn't much to them. Let's make some adjustments. I'll start to make the Ghast better with the baby Ghast. To do that, we'll need to shrink it everywhere. That means small head, short tentacles, and little wrinkles. I don't know why the Ghast has wrinkles, but I kept them. We always see the Ghast crying in Minecraft, but the baby Ghast wouldn't have anything to be said about yet. So here's a little smile for the guy. And I also just came up with a new design concept for these Ghasts. Since there's so much focus on the eyes, I'm going to give them more and more eyes as they evolve. So starting with the baby, it'll just have one eye. That's our baby Ghast. Now let's move on to the evolved Ghast. This is the normal Ghast evolution. So I'll want to give it a pretty similar shape, but give it more scary details. I want players to be terrified to go to the nether. Let's make the tentacles a bit curvy and make the mouth giant, almost like the Joker's face. Like I said, we're going to focus on the eyes, so let's add some holes for 3 eyes. And then I'll turn the eyes red and yellow to really fit in with the fiery depths of the nether that it's going to be flying around. But again, this Ghast needs to be scary. So I'll add this little bit to attach teeth to. And I also want to give this Ghast the feeling that it has molten lava inside of it, since it's going to be spitting out crazy hot fireballs. And because of that molten interior, it can even be seen as lava in the veins. Now for the Elder Ghast. And now you know this one is going to be crazy. Let's make the eyes and mouth both bigger and even more teeth. And then we'll take these tentacles, put them on the back of the head, and then go absolutely off the hinges, adding tons of eyeballs on the ends. This is definitely heavily inspired by the beholders from Dungeons and Dragons. But this monster of a Ghast is going to terrify you, I promise. With all our Ghasts done, let's see how they look in Minecraft. Now let's talk about the Ender Dragon, Minecraft's final boss. I think it's kind of lame that it's just one simple fight. The dragon is kind of pointless, and there's almost nothing to this mob. Let's completely rework and fix it. I'll start by making a baby dragon, one that will actually hatch from the egg. I'll start with this dragon head, since the baby dragon is going to be way smaller. I also don't want it to fly around. Instead, I decided to give it the body shape of a rabbit, then retextured the whole thing black. For the eyes, of course, they've got to be purple. And even though it's a little itty-bitty baby, it will still have little dragon horns. I'll give the baby dragon's tail some little spikes. It may not be able to fly, but that doesn't mean it won't have wings. Let's add some planes that will retexture into wings. And with those done, our adorable baby dragon is complete. No time to play around. Let's start on the evolved dragon. We'll take a normal dragon and make it way cooler in every way. Let's get some better horns. Then adjust and bend these wings. Trust me, these are going to get way better. Better tail, little spiky bits, and a better posture. We can't have a hunchback dragon. Let's get back to these wings. I decided I'd give it this magical purple effect. Like it's gaining more magic power the more it evolves. And I want this purple effect used in lots of places. Now we just need some better details, like bright eyes, sharp teeth, and even more detail on these eyes. I did not plan to spend this long, but I think it's worth it. And it'll make the Elder Dragon even better too. Let's get to it. I'm going to blow your mind with how to make the dragon into an Elder. Done. Just kidding. Honestly, this already works, but I'm not lazy. We're gonna make it better. The grayscale does mess with some things, like the teeth. Let's fix those. But this is the perfect face. I'm gonna make it look older with these flowing eyebrows. Bring some purple back into the eyes and mouth, then give it this old, scraggly beard. With age comes wisdom. except in my case. It's old, not a fighter anymore. You can even see light hints of purple still in the wings. But clearly, this is not the same aggressive dragon it once was. Our Elder Dragon is the protector of the end, no longer just a boss fight, and if the player can gain its trust, they could have an ally for life. Now, let's see our new and improved Ender Dragons in Minecraft.
I don't know who would hire a piece of pork, but SpongeBob has a job, so let's make SpongeBob. We'll first grab this pig head and spread it wide, like the sponge. Then paste on the SpongeBob yellow, and we need a face. Bam! Pull off his torso, so we can add SpongeBob's little white shirt, his brown pants, and his red tie. Couple of SpongeBob arms, and his tiny twig legs, and then just his rusty crab hat to certify his employment.
Next up, we're gonna remake this rotten flesh into a rotten worm. Don't even ask me how I got that idea. I'm gonna start by making this long worm shape, paint the whole thing rotten flesh colored, then make this front part into a grotesque mouth. I'll give it these two tiny black eyes, and texture the top of it this gross color, just like rotten flesh. You know how people sometimes eat rotten flesh in Minecraft when they have nothing better? Yeah, I don't think I'd want to do that with the rotten worm. I'm just gonna keep texturing it until the whole thing looks as disgusting as rotten flesh. And yeah, there's the rotten worm. I kind of hate it, but I also kind of love it. Let's see if we still like it when we see it in game. Let's remake this piglet into an Oviraptor. Make the face longer so we can fit the Oviraptor's huge nose. Attach the weight of that nose to a sturdy neck. The typical dangerous dinosaur body. And those sleek front arms on the Oviraptor that have a wing-like bone structure with foot-back legs. Because these guys like to steal eggs from other dinosaurs. To upgrade this Enderman, we'll take away that water weakness it has. Start with giving it a diver's helmet. Suited up in more of that brown metal armor. Can't forget to cover up those long arms. And this guy should never fear the water ever again. Of course, we're gonna need a creepy clown. So let's remake this villager. Let's pull up his body and move his arms and head forward slightly and put on a big red clown costume with that tuft portion around his neck. Of course, white face paint and a big red nose. One massive smiling clown mouth. Repeat orange clown hair. And one of those clown black top hats that barely fits. Let's turn this guardian into a sea serpent to guard the oceans. We've got to build up this body into a head and a long serpent form. Stacking a bunch of guardian bodies together will give it lots of cool spines. Add some giant fins to the side of its head to make it fishy. And give it those guardian orange accents and some dark scaly patterns. I'm gonna make it so this pig can fly with the wings of an angel. I never did understand why the pigs don't have ears, so we'll start with that. And a cute curly tail too. Let's take these rectangles and make them into golden wings. But they really need to be shaped perfect, and not just wings. I'll make them have golden feathers on the top. And let's also make that old tail we had gold as well. The cutest pigs have spots. And that's not excluding this guy. Now we'll give this pig a golden saddle, because who wouldn't want to ride this guy into battle? That is a pig that's ready to soar. This drowned will be our elite drowned captain. Let's get this sailor back on deck with some better threads. They need a captain's coat to look official. For the head, I'm thinking this guy was underwater so long, an octopus made its home on his head. So we'll build out the body on that octopus and add some building eyes. Then we'll need to use these blocks to build out tentacles coming out all around the captain with little suckers on the bottom. Who's in charge here? The captain or the octopus? So we'll make this chicken a true bird of prey. Get rid of that baby chicken face and turn it into an eagle. Shape is looking good already, but there's still some more to do. Stretch out the wings a little bit and give this chicken some talons. Now that is a predator. Next up, I'm going to take this amethyst and turn it into an amethyst binder. Start by duplicating the block and shrinking it. This will become its nose. Then add these purple rectangles that will become the eyebrows. You might not see the vision yet, but you trust your boy Kipper. Now I'm going to start making this weirdly shaped hat thing. It kind of looks like a witch hat, but it's not. Don't question it. Onto the ears. I ended up making them pointy like a little purple elf. Now work on that body. I decided to go with the stubby build. You might not like it, but this is the ideal physique. I'll start the texturing by working on the feet, then the shoulders. Now I have a great idea. I'm going to incorporate the amethyst clusters here too. Let's add them all over this guy's head. Okay, I made the nose really long, but I think it works. Does anyone else think this looks like the dad from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? And like I said, this is going to be an amethyst miner, so he's going to need some tools. So we're going to take more amethyst and turn it into a very sharp pickaxe. Yep, that's solid. I think our amethyst mob is looking good. Let's check it out out in-game. Let's turn this cow into a woolly mammoth. You're gonna need some way bigger legs, buddy. Double up that torso and make it bigger for the size we need as well. Make sure everything is covered in thick fur. Make the head bigger, and then we'll start on the trunk and the tusks. We can make it a pair of thick, long tusks like so. A little more detail to the head, and done. My next idea is to turn a shulker box into a shulker-themed dinosaur. Let's start with this cube. Yes, it is a cow. Don't question it. See? Better already. Shulker. I thought a good texture for the body of this mob would be endstone, to go with the shulker theme. So we're going to use these pieces to create the rest of the body. This part will be the head, but we're also going to give it a shulker helmet. Carve out little eye holes for the mob to see out of. That's important. Then texture in those lookers. Now let's move this beast up and give it some legs. Here are some little shulker shell boots. I'd like to see you walk a mile in his shoes. Now for the tail. You guessed it, spiky and with some shulker armor. It's almost like a shulker hippo. But let's see how this beast looks in-game. Let's turn this fox into a sloth. Sloths like to hang from trees, but we'll model this little buddy on the ground. Now we'll give it some long arms, perfect for hugging trees or people. Same thing for legs. Give it some color to its fur and some little claws for gripping trees and grabbing leaves. Look at that friendly little face.
Okay, I guess we could just turn this creeper into Wilson Fisk, a.k.a. the Kingpin. Pull him apart first so we can balloon up his entire body. And the Kingpin has such a large body, his head is going to sit nearly on his chest. Build him down like a massive bowling pin with some big, tiny little legs. Then we can duplicate these feet over and over and over to make some muscular arms. Texture on his black suit, and we'll keep the creeper head on there in case we gotta blow this guy up.
What's next? Let's turn this coral block into a coral crab mob. The coral block is going to become the shell for the crab, so let's carve out and open it. Then I'll use the vibrant blue to start making the crab body. And here we've got all the pointy crab legs. Talking about all these crab legs is making me hungry. But this one is not for eating. It's time to make the big pincher claws for the crab. And since I made it more of a hermit crab, I'm going to give it these huge eyes. Oh my gosh, he's looking cute. And then I decided to start adding coral pieces like this. And this crab lives at the bottom of the sea, so it'll also have these barnacle growths on the side of it. But after just a little bit more texturing, I think the coral mob is perfect. Let's find out for sure. We'll turn this block into a two-faced businessman. Start by giving it this gray body. I promise it'll be a mob, just stick with me. Give it a red eye and menacing mouth to create its night side. And on the right, a kind and dapper gentleman for the day side. We can't just leave this guy gray. No, we must suit him up. Is this a good mob or a bad mob? Time will tell. I'll turn this evoker into a scary, void-walking creature. I'll start by remaking the face to be quite a bit creepier. And give it this hunchback shape too. On the back, I'll give it this very defined spine. And don't forget the fingers. Can't make a scary mob without some very weird fingers. It still needs to look like an evoker though, so I worked on making the clothes a little bit more recognizable. No more bald head. This hair will look way scarier. Remember how I said it was a void walker? Yeah, it won't need legs, because it'll be stuck in darkness. With that, our scary evoker is ready to go. Let's see just how creepy it looks in Minecraft. A horse is perfect to make into a zebra. No need for all that tack. Give a little more definition to the legs to be more realistic, then we can get to some shading. We'll need a black and white mane, and then to cover the whole body in stripes. Are zebras black with white stripes, or white with black stripes? Now I'm going to turn a piece of mutton into a mutton moth. I'm actually going to start by making the moth body, and my plan is to make it look like it has wool, like a sheep. Here's the little face of the moth, mutton colored of course, and for the wings, they're going to be two huge pieces of mutton. I spent a lot of time making sure these giant slabs of mutton look right. That's definitely a sentence that's never been said before. After finishing that, I revisited the eyes because I felt like they weren't moth-like enough before, and with two woolly antennae on the head, I think this mutton moth is ready to go. Let's check it out in game. Now we'll see how realistic we can make this Enderman. Let's give this guy some more definition and some joints. I think it can walk on those legs. Some grabby hands, and I think an Enderman would probably have a creepy alien-like face in real life. Let's turn this fiery blaze into an ice cold blizzard. Make it icy colored, and instead of fire and smoke, there's gonna be snowflakes. I think it looks pretty chill. Let's turn this music disc into its own DJ to blast some tunes. To make it a mob, it'll need some legs. For arms, it'll have these record needles. Oh, he's funky. He's grooving.
He's ready to lay down some sick beats. Let's give this warden a job as a prison warden. Let's start off giving this warden a more human shape. Little adjustment here. Make this smaller. Yes, that will work on the uniform. No suit for this guy. He's on duty running the place. Give him a baton and he's ready. I'll make this Enderman into the scariest Enderman ever. Remove the boring head and give this Enderman some very sharp claws. I gave it this white line, which is going to become the eye. And I also went ahead and gave it really long black hair, just like this. For the arms, I want them to be covering the Enderman's face. It's almost like it doesn't want you to see it. This is awesome, but we're not done. To make it even scarier, I gave it spines of darkness. After some final details, I think our Enderman is looking flawless. But let's see how this horrifying creature looks in Minecraft. I'm going to make Minecraft's scariest mob, the Warden, even scarier. Take the Warden face and put it on the front of the body. Yikes. And then I'll completely reshape it. I made the dark colors white, kind of like the prototype, and made this middle part of the body split. Why, you might ask? Well, we're going to make it into a giant mouth with teeth. I wanted to keep some original Warden features though, so I gave it these skull spikes and placed them on the body just like this. Now, duplicate. After some retexturing and adding some more creepy mouths with very hideous teeth, our new and improved Scary Warden is ready. Let's test him out in-game. I'm going to start by taking this bone block and turning it into a skeletal wanderer mob. Let's take the bone block and cut it in half and turn it into a mouth with spiky teeth. I then added this purple part to the top. I think I'm going to use this as a head covering. I think it would be really cool for this to have a hunchback as well. And here are the arms and the legs. Gotta have those. And now I'll add some design to the clothes. Fix the jaw so the mouth is open and then do a whole bunch of texturing. Oh yeah, it's starting to come together now. And I think the hunchback bony boy is ready to rock. Let's see what it looks like in Minecraft. Next up, we're going to turn a beat into a DJ. And his name shall be DJ Beetroot. Don't question it. Start by making this beat-shaped model. Add on some tiny little legs and arms. And I wasn't joking when I said DJ. Here's some headphones. Now that I have this grooving beats model done, let's start coloring him right. Red for the beat and green for the leaf. Then I added a couple more leaves coming off of his head, going for sort of a hair feature. And to really give off that cool energy, I also textured on some sunglasses. And I still had some work to do on the details. After that was done, DJ Beetroot was ready for action. Let's see this guy jamming in-game. These blueberries are about to become happy little buddies. Don't judge yet. I know it looks like grotesque cherries right now. We'll fix that. Already looking better. Now time to make these berries glow. I might have lied about the happy buddies part. This one does not look happy. As a whole though, they're looking bright and ready to rock. A chicken is perfect to make a dodo bird. Dodos were definitely bigger than chickens and had way longer necks. So we'll put some meat on his bones and give him a neck curving up to a head with a bigger beak. And those eyes. No claws, no brain, only dodo. Look at this clueless little guy. We're gonna make this piglin into a golden brawny brawling brute. Say that 3 times fast. Golden brawny brawling brute. Golden brawling, darn it. Take all the limbs off and make that body way bigger. Reattach the head, and it's so small. But that's okay. Making his shoulder bigger and giving him these gloves should help a bit. Let's cover this guy up and give him some black shorts. Don't forget the shoes. Those are some shining gold gloves. This guy is an absolute unit. Finally, you know we have to add the golden crown. Crooked, of course. Now that's a brutish king I don't want to mess with. Let's start by making this creeper way stronger. Give it these deadly red eyes, horns that'll fit on the sides of its head. Place a royal green crown on top, fix it up with a super powerful tail. What are creepers missing? Arms. Oh yeah. That's what I call an upgraded mob. This zombie can be upgraded into a toxic zombie. You think he's gross now? We're gonna cover him in putrid slime. Throw on a ton of these bumps oozing out of its face. Slump that head so it can grow an extra one and a third arm reaching out of its chest. This beast should become an inhabitant of the frozen tundra. Let's make it an ice elemental. It'll have blue skin to acclimate to its new environment. The body will literally be made of snow. Then we'll build out some body sections to give it a better shape, end off with its stinger being a super sharp icicle. Now that is one chill bee. I've got a great idea to turn this witch into a blood witch. Let me show you. We'll cover the witch face and give it a bandage mask, but still have the creepy little eye show through. The other part of the
mask has got to be bloody though. For the robes, obviously, they have got to be red. And now for the cool part. I'll make these magic bloody arms coming out of the back of the witch. Bend them up to look super scary and rotate them to make the witch walk on them too. This is definitely one of the most wild witches I've ever made. It looks good, but let's see it in game. Now it's time to make the Nether's weirdest mob, the gas, even scarier. I want to start by giving it more of a threatening mouth and retexture the whole thing brown instead of white. I don't know why, but I thought it'd be a good idea to make these puff sacks on it all over it, like this. The tentacles also need to look way scarier. For the teeth, they need to be long and sharp. And the rest of the body needs to have a little bit more detail too. But I think our new gas is ready, and absolutely disgusting. Oh well, let's check it out in Minecraft. Now we're gonna remake kelp into a kelp steed. I'm gonna need to start by making a generic horse-shaped model, add some short ears, and some skinny legs. But this isn't just going to be any horse. It's gonna be more like a seahorse. So this back half of the horse will be a long tail meant for swimming. I'll add some fins to this part as well. You can see it's kind of shaped like a horse mermaid right now, which is actually looking pretty good. Now with that done, I'm gonna start coloring the whole thing kelp colors. Texture in that horse face. It looks a little derpy, which is perfect. Here are some seaweed spines, and also add on some scales to the body. Scales here, scales there, scales all over. And I got a little carried away with making it look this detailed. I think it'd be really cool if I added these kelp growths coming off of it as well. Oh yeah, this is turning out nice. I think we'll call you Kelpie. Let's see how Kelpie looks in Minecraft. Let's make this piglet into the hash-slinging slasher that SpongeBob is afraid of. Make him shorter and give him his black body, round it out for more of a plankton-like look. Grab his head and make it a nose, the slinging slasher's red eyes, and his spatula for slinging hash. Now I'm gonna turn this snow block into a snow golem. Hold on, that's already a mob. Okay, stay with me. This one is gonna be even better. The snow golem we have is a snowman. I'm gonna be making it an actual snow golem. So I'll start by making this giant snow golem body and slapping a carved pumpkin on top. Then I'll give it these stick fingers on the hands. And now for the giant coal buttons. This amount of coal could keep your house warm for like a full week. But what the heck, let's add even more. Coal toads. And now for the head, I want the pumpkin to still have a super big stem growing from it. Why does the snow golem look so scared? Well, let's make it scary. Now for the best part. Ice crystals all on the body. Let's texture them to look super frosty. And I think it's looking ready now, but let's see in game. Let's string together a ton of these slime balls to make a slime ball caterpillar. Start by making a perfect Minecraft sphere. Duplicate the green ball multiple times and have them get smaller and smaller and smaller as they go. Top it off with a cute little face for this happy fella. Wait, we could make purple from rainbow friends. Pull the squid head off and then duplicate it to make purple's body. Of course, texture them all the way purple. Then use some of these tentacles to build purple super long arms. Those massive eyes you see watching you from a vent. And purple has some really wide, flat feet, but we can definitely just define the fingers and toes. Alright, Rabbit, it's your turn to turn into a blood rabbit. I'll start by making it taller and fixing those feet. Also, this rabbit is going to be a predator. Let's give it scarier arms. And then add some little bloody claws. Yikes. I would hate to see this guy roaming the desert. To make it even scarier, let's give it antlers, like a jackalope. Now for the blood. To be a blood mob, it's going to need a lot. And that's our complete blood rabbit, ready to be put in Minecraft. We're gonna upgrade this zombie by making it a mutant. Punch him over just a little bit. These red eyes would scare even the toughest of foes. Now to give him claws, make him a mean green fighting machine mutant. Big and buff plus sharp claws. Oh yeah, now that's an upgrade. We should make this villager into a golden villager. Of course, he'll need golden hands and veins of gold up his arms. Add some gold to the eyes and more golden veins creeping up his head. We'll throw out those old clothes and give him a toga trimmed in gold. Don't forget a kingly golden crown and plenty of golden hair. I think it's time we make a snow golem more of an ice golem. Start by retexturing its whole body to look super like ice. Add an umbrella to deal with cold's biggest weakness, the blistering heat. Get some old ice spikes coming out of its head, and you can't go wrong with an ice cannon. This golem is now ready to take on the world, and hopefully the sun too. We're going to use this chicken to remake a gum signatus. The same size chicken head, but we just need to make the beak longer, and a longer skinny neck on this compy. Though these guys are small, these tiny little hands here can be absolutely vicious. Let's get those spikes all the way down the back. also have spikes on the backs of their front arms. Ooh. Next up, I'll turn this prismarine block into a creeper from the deep ocean. First, we'll need a big blocky shape. Then I'll start adding these fishy extensions. Now we've got 2 fin parts, and remember, it's a deep sea creeper, so let's give it the classic creeper face. Don't judge this one, he's been through a lot. The normal prismarine wasn't really doing the mob justice, so I turned up the saturation and did some more work coloring in the fins. I'm not gonna lie, this one looks pretty cursed. Here, let's add some gills. That might help a little bit. It's kind of weird, but oddly, I really do like it. Now let's see how this deep sea creeper looks in game. Have you ever thought that the creeper just isn't quite creepy enough? Well, I have. So let's make it creepy. Its legs are pretty lame, so I'm gonna build them out and have a lot more definition. Then I gave the creeper this weird arched back shape, like it's crawling over. Now, after the general shape, start by giving it this dark green color. And I really didn't think there was enough to spare in the original creeper face, so I made this one instead. I didn't want to keep the original pixelated texture of the creeper, so I used that while coloring it. And man, those eyes, those are terrifying. Look at them stare into your soul. Add on to that scary sight, I'll add these spines. Now that is the best creeper we've ever seen. Let's turn this Enderman into a dragon Enderman. First, we need to bulk up that body to make the form of our dragon. Throw on a tail, shape out the head from Enderman to dragon, and give him some dragon scales and glowing purple teeth. We'll elongate the neck here, make sure to add a hump to the back, splash on some color. Then we'll start adding details to the face and body. Lots of shading to get the look just right. Fix up that tail, and our camel is ready to rock. Let's make this wolf look super realistic. A real wolf is way more than just boxes. So let's add some more shape to the head. And we'll do the same to the body, adding joints to those legs, and a way fluffier tail. Now instead of all white, we'll add some color to its fur, lots of shading and definition to get it just right, and let's not forget the details of the face. Let's turn this blaze into a blaze dragon. First a head with a bunch of horns, then we'll give it a body standing up on 2 legs, add some wings, and we'll give it some armor before adding that fiery blaze color. First, let's remake this wolf into the most powerful dinosaur of all, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Let's start by turning this wolf head into a real T-Rex head and add on some really sharp teeth. Then we need to raise it way up and transform his wolf body. And the T-Rex is always looking like it's leaning over with a really long tail on the end. Now take a wolf leg and change it into the tiny T-Rex front arms. With the claws too. And the other wolf legs, we could turn into the big back legs on the T-Rex. And he's definitely gonna need some eyes too. Let's improve the weirdest ocean mob. Time to make the Guardian better. I started by giving it these long horns with all these different growths. Now, time to build out the body to have all these different sections. I know what it needs now. Teeth. Really sharp teeth. Now, to recolor this brown and purple, that's much better. It's going to be in the ocean, so it'll need some new fins. Here are some bigger ones on the side, like this. For just a little bit more detail, I decided to add some coral textures too. Almost like it's been at the bottom of the ocean way too long. Oh yeah. That new Guardian is great, but I wonder how it's going to look in game. Now I'm going to turn this piece of steak into a full-on burger mob. I'm going to model this the way I would cook a burger. So I'm starting with our buns. You make the buns first? I mean, I guess so if you're making them from scratch. You do make the buns first, don't you? Then we're going to add some pieces for lettuce and cheese. And I'm going to start to stack the burger. I feel like I work in a digital fast food restaurant right now. But here's the fun part. I'm going to raise the burger up and give it legs and give it arms. Now that shape looks good. I'm going to color it just right. Yep, that's perfect. And now for the eyes, because this burger needs to be able to see where it's going. And we can't forget the sesame seed bun. And I ended up retexturing all the individual pieces before reassembling the burger and added some extra ingredients, like tomatoes. Still conflicted whether I like tomatoes on a burger or not. Finally, I have created a burger mob that even SpongeBob would be proud of. But let's see it in Minecraft. Let's turn this iron golem into a shroom golem. Let's give him a better mushroom color and start giving him a mushroom cap. Stack these blocks up and make them bright red. We'll add some roots and fungus all over it. Some white spots on that mushroom cap and a little shading with some eyes will bring this shroom golem to life. Normally we ride horses, but what if this horse was the rider instead? First, our horse needs a pillager to saddle. Let's have him walk around on all all fours like so, and give him some tack to wear like a proper horse. Now we add the horse, put everything in position here and here. Now hold the reins, and we'll give the horse a lance for jousting. This horse is ready to ride. I know there's a creature living in this Nautilus shell. We'll make sure it comes out to say hi. Start by making the shell 3D. Build out a couple of skinny arms from the shell, and put a trident in its hands. There's the little eyes poking out. I have absolutely no idea how it's going to be able to carry that trident around, but I believe. Let's turn this stray into a real stray. Shrink this body down and start adjusting some of the limbs. Add some ears and a tail. Now let's give this cat shape a little backpack. And start adding some bright orange colors, some whiskers, and a cute kitty face. Our stray is looking good. So let's give him this little drone friend, B12. Now that is the perfect stray. Let's make this spider into a beautiful butterfly. Rework that body into a butterfly shape, some curly, fuzzy antenna, add in some starter wings, and boom! Splash on some color. An ocelot is a great mob to turn into a snow leopard. We'll take this jungle cat and reshape the body for our snowy mountain leopards. Snow leopards have some extra thick fur to keep warm. And we'll adjust those legs to look a little more cat-like. The coloring needs to be way more brown to blend in before we cover this cat in leopard spots all over. And we'll make the warning into an interdimensional warning. First, we'll switch up the colors, worsen up that posture, turn those antennae into bonsai trees growing out of its head. Stretch out that head and give him a huge, terrifying mouth. And I'm going to turn this iron golem into a cybernetic weapon of destruction. Build on the steel chest piece, give him a big old arm laser. Ooh, the claw! And add some heavy artillery as the finishing touches. Yeah, I would not want to mess with this dude. For this one, I'll make Herobrine into an even scarier mob. The scheme shape isn't quite scary enough, so this new body needs to be better. I'm going to make the mouth way bigger and add these super creepy teeth. Yikes. I wouldn't want this guy to take a bite out of me. For the arms, we'll shrink them and create these nasty fingers and add some even worse claws to the end. Now, for the best part, we're going to have these giant spider legs coming from Herobrine's back. He'll use these to walk around. For the final touch, a long snake tongue and a half-zombified face. Our Herobrine is far scarier than before. Time to test it out in Minecraft. Now, if a cake was a mob, it would be adorable. Build out the base of the cake and slap on the delicious frosting. Apply the candle eyes. A bit of shading here and there. No one wants an undercooked cake. Bon appetit! First, I'll be making the villager better by turning it into a villager knight and a baby villager. I'll start with this emerald villager shape, then make it beefy. It's gonna be a super strong knight after all. Give this guy some super long arms, and this part will become a helmet. But right now, it kind of looks like an old man's hair. But I also can't forget to give him a weapon to hold. We'll come back to this awesome axe later. Now, let's really make it look more like a villager. Get the basic coloring done, and now it's time to emeraldify him. So I added this giant emerald design to the chest plate, and really went to town making the emerald axe as well. Now to fix the body and animations. I also thought it'd be cool to add this long flowing cape. With the villager knight complete, now for the baby. And I'll start by shrinking the villager body down to just the head. Bring that nose up and make some room for this pacifier. Now I'll make these stubby arms and stubby legs. I'll have the baby villager walking on all fours, of course. Now let's make it start looking like a real villager. It's definitely kind of cursed, but you know we had to give it the unibrow. And now look at those gorgeous green eyes. This is absolutely ridiculous looking right now. Oh my god. I went ahead and made this extra piece at the back to give the baby a diaper. Now that is one cursed baby villager. But let's see how they look in game. Now, let's make the wolf better by giving it pup and dire wolf variants. And I'll need to kick things off by shrinking that wolf body. It looks so dumb right now. But we'll fix it. Time to get a total makeover. Here are some long ears and a brand new head. Now look at that adorable face. Then I did some subtle texturing all around the body. Wolf pups also have these orange and red colors in the fur, I guess because they haven't grown up yet. Either way, it works perfectly for the mob we're making. This might just be the best baby mob I've ever created. It's perfect. Flawless! Now for the dire wolf. Unlike the pup, we'll be making all these body parts way bigger. And they'll be this jet black color too. Ferocious. The regular wolf isn't cutting it, so I started needing to create some of these limbs from scratch. But I'm going to use this wolf face as the base for our dire wolf's head. Attach it and paint it all black too. Then I gave it a red mouth and these super sharp teeth. Now for the best part, the eyes. One will be this bright red and the other will have a scar. I decided to give it ears like this and this thick fur shape all over the body. I nearly forgot to give it a tail. Can you imagine if we made a tailless wolf? Now let's get some texturing done. Here are some claws for them toes, and to really give it the sense that it has seen some serious battle, I added some scars on the flesh too. I definitely would not want to mess with this wolf, but let's see how scary it really is in Minecraft. Now I want to make the chicken better, which means we start with the egg, and a dragon version. For the baby, I duplicated a chicken body and turned it into this egg shape. Turn it all egg color, then shrink it down and open it up. I'm hungry for some omelets. But once I got the egg part from complete, I went back to the chicken, shrinking it down into this little baby face. Look at this little guy. Pull up him inside of the egg where he belongs and make him yellow. Then I'll add some feathers to just round it out. And now for the awesome part, the chicken dragon. I'll be starting with a regular chicken here too, but it's gonna have to get a lot bigger. I'll be using all parts of the chicken to make this one look totally awesome. I used this red part to make some dragon horns, then gave it these giant black eyes on the side of the head. Now open up that mouth, buddy. We're gonna need some dragon fangs in there. Oh yeah, just like that. Now I'll duplicate this part to start to make the neck and the body. It might be a dragon, but it's still a chicken at heart. So we gotta give it those chicken feet with some sharp talons. This guy is looking amazing. Let's get to work on the wings. I created this feather texture that I'll use for those, and I'm gonna need a lot. I wanted to try and make it look like it had both feathers and scales. It wasn't easy, but after some work, I'm pretty happy with how it came together. Let's find out for sure in game. For the skeleton, I'll be making broken and titan versions of it. I'll start by shading this skull down and adding this crack effect on top. Get rid of this entire skeleton and bring the skull down to the ground. I'll still need those noodle arms though. They're going to be magically attached to the skeleton mob, making it crawl on the ground like this. And I wanted to make it look like there's a pile of crumbled bones below the skull too. But it isn't totally helpless. It will be holding these bone swords. I got a bone to pick with you. Yikes. Let's make the Titan now. We'll start with the skeleton base again, but this one is gonna be crazy. Trust me. I'll make this piece that will become the new skull. Give it some dark eye sockets and these crazy bright green pupils. Now for those chompers. But the real crazy part is going to be this long rib cage for the body. And now the giant bony arms with these creepy skeletal fingers. To really bring the mob together, I gave it this entire skeletal spine and then added all of these skeleton hands coming off of the body. This guy is looking creepy. I have turned this into a skeletal abomination. And on top of that, I'll even give it this bone tail. After some final touch-ups, the skeletal titan is looking beautiful. But let's see how it really looks in Minecraft. I'm going to make the iron golem better by giving it baby and mecha variants. So let's shrink down this iron golem big time. Look at that tiny little body. Let's recolor it so it'll be more earthy. I think a baby iron golem would be made of stones, so that's what I'm going for here. And the head won't work here, so let's shrink it and turn it into an eye. A big yellow eye will be perfect. Put it inside the body, change the color to be more stone-like, and then I'll start making this cobblestone texture on it. We'll use this all over the golem. Now for the green moss on the head. Even as a baby, it still has this stuff growing all over. I created another piece, and I'm going to use this to make some flowers on top. It's like a bouquet of roses growing from the golem's skull. Now it's time for the mecha. I'll detach this iron golem torso and move it up like this, then start to recolor the whole thing this metallic blue. I'll change the eyes to red to make it really get that robot look. I also added this hatch in the back with a door swung open. This is going to be where someone controls it. Now I'll add this digital rose design to the front, and it's time to retexture things chrome. I went ahead and added some long robot arms just like this and fixed the legs in the same way. I also wanted to make the driver's seat extremely comfy looking. And with some final exhaust pipes and robot parts, that just leaves us with the joysticks to control the golem. This is Sweet. Let's give it a spin in-game. Now we'll make the spider better by making a baby and gigantic version. This spider body is going to have to get a lot smaller. My goal is to see if I can make this spider almost cute. Very difficult job. I hate spiders. Shrink down those legs big time and rotate them so they look better. Now I'll recolor it gray and give it these big black eyes. I'll retexture the whole thing and even give it these tiny baby teeth. A creepy, beautiful baby blushing spider. Ugh. Now for the gigantic spider. Let's do this. Raise that abdomen up and make it way bigger. I want to make it into this super scary radioactive spider. So I made it green with fangs like this. Now for the creepy part, I'll give it these super long legs that have these ultra sharp points. Then color them all this yellow. Duplicate that over and over and over to make this menacing spider. I need to fix the face though. That's what's really gonna sell it. And now that it looks alright, it's time to texture this bad boy. And for the finishing touch, this radioactive symbol on its back. Kind of like a black widow, but way more dangerous. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's creepy. It's disgusting. Let's see it in Minecraft. This blaze is about to become a master of the mind, aka a psychic elemental. The blaze rods are no longer part of its body, but instead will be floating weapons. Color it purple and give it beautiful eyes that can see into the future. Throw on some long flowing hair and give it a meditating body. This blaze is going full Zen mode. Some golden jewelry to help focus this guy's psychic powers. Now this blaze is looking ready to tell me some fortunes. We can definitely make this witch more realistic. We'll hunch that posture from hours stirring cauldrons, make that nose extra hooked and warty, some creepy hands ready to snatch you up, and that messy hair and torn up robes. She may be more scary than realistic. Let's turn this phantom into the Phantom of the Opera. No need for wings, let's make a human body instead. He's going to need a suit and a mask on half of his face. What a broody looking face! Now we're looking slick. Now, Minecraft spiders aren't really as frightening as a real spider, so we'll make it bigger first, then add a super realistic, nasty spider sack. Now ahead with some actual fangs and some better dimensions on this 8-legged freak. Oh, and those red eyes. Now we'll make this little slime into a creepy slime snail. It'll need a super long neck into a big shell, a trail of slime tail behind it. We'll give it some slimy arms to drag itself along the ground. Make sure we've got that extra slimy texture going on and some swirls to the shell. This guy is looking gross. This opposite mob is gonna be bizarre. Villagers are always getting chased by zombies. So we'll make this villager into something even zombies will fear. He's just a regular guy with a huge mouth on his stomach, and his elbows and knees and hands. Even the back of his head. He's so hungry. This is going to be the most shoving shovel there ever was. First, we're going to extend that stick foundation, use it to create the base of our handles, and top each off with a shoving shovel hand. Expand the head for more room, and add on a crazy face for this shove-obsessed tool, a double shovel backpack, some spade legs, and we're ready to dig. Welcome to Minecraft, but a fishing rod catches you. As a backstory, I'm imagining this fishing rod was unique, so it'll be built similarly to, but not quite the same as other fishing rods. And it'll also have a sort of natural camouflage from, say, being abandoned and exposed to the elements. Ooh, and the lure will function similar to an anglerfish's light-up head thing, so we'll make that pop. Now let's build out some fishing rod's body with a dirt-like texture that helps it blend in, and we'll plant some tails and fins, since this is inspired by a fish after all. Add an eye and teeth, and we might just have the deadliest catch. Let's remake this creeper into Siren Head. Pull all the creeper pieces apart so we can get him standing super tall. Texture him into a rusted metal color and his lengthy neck. We can extend his arms way down in multiple pieces to give it a jaggedy freaking look. And really long fingernails. Of course, the massive siren sticking out both sides of his head with a near skeletal frame. Salmon shouldn't be stuck in water. Let's make it an earth elemental. If it wants to survive on land, it's gonna have to be a lot bigger. Keep its tail and add a sharp stone on the head. It is still a salmon though, so we'll need to have the red checkered pattern. Now is the most important part to become one with the earth. Adding legs, of course. Build up some bulky stones growing out of the back of this behemoth. Now welcome to land, Mr. Salmon. Let's make the mushroom into a scarier mushroom monster. We'll replace the head with with a new mushroom-shaped one and give it a mouth full of bad teeth. This guy definitely needs a new dentist. For the body, I'll have it standing upright like this, and another mouth on the stomach. I've been making a lot of teeth in this video. The arms are going to be gross and dangling behind it like this, and I'll also add some mushrooms to the head. Obviously, I'll recolor them to a couple of final mushrooms, and I think this new mushroom monster is looking pretty horrifying, which in this case is a good thing. Let's check it out in game. A creeper usually destroys everything around it, so we're gonna make a plant creeper to grow things instead. First, we'll change that iconic creeper texture to look like tree bark. A little extra bits to the feet will make them look like roots. Copying the head, we can switch up the texture to be a treetop. A salmon can be the base for us to make a plesiosaur. Obviously, we need to make this way bigger with a super long neck, plus some larger fins for moving through the water, and a long tail to match the rest of its length. Add some chompers to that mouth, and give it some color with a cool stripe pattern and shading. This bat will be our owl. We can get rid of those wings for now, and work on making his body owl-shaped. A little more shaping for how all those feathers would sit. Add some feet and some claws. Time to bring back those wings. Now let's shade in all those feathers. Look at those huge owl eyes. This sheep would look better with the fluffiest coat of all, a lightning cloud. Who needs all these body parts? Get rid of them. Instead, this cloud will be perfect. That is one woolly sheep. It's starting to look kinda cursed. I love it. Flash on some green, because even though it was cute before, it needs to be a storm cloud. Now that is a sheep that is ready to rain on everybody's parade. Compasses can tell direction, but they can't go anywhere. Let's change that. Start on the base and stick on these legs underneath. Give it eyes so that it can see where it's going, and finish it off with the red dial, always knowing which way is north. I've gotten bored of the blaze. Let's make it better as a new and improved soul blaze. Let's move these blaze rods. They definitely aren't going to be good enough for what we're going for. Start from scratch with this blaze head and turn this base into a mouth with fiery teeth, and attach this new head to a floating body. Like the wither, we'll give the body a rib cage. Now for the soul part. Let's redo these blaze rods and recolor the blaze to be black and blue with the soul sand texture on it. These blaze rod diamonds look super cool too. To give more oomph to the blaze, I gave it floating hands like this. Stop it off with a soul fire look, and this blaze is definitely looking better. Let's check it out in Minecraft. Let's remake our very own dinosaur by turning this Enderman into a Kipper. Grab the Enderman head and duplicate it into a longer head. Turn it to my favorite color, blue. I want to do something with this up here. So sharpie and orange eyes. Let's go for a thinner, long-shaped body with spikes all the way down the back with two major pokey ones. And this will turn into a super sweet hairstyle. Now we've got some sweet scaly skin too. Oh, and of course, we need some strong back legs as well though. Let's turn this creeper into a walking golden maniac. Let's start by removing these legs. Paint it all yellow, of course. Then blow up its body to give it a larger shape. I want to give it stones coming out of the top of its head. I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing to the legs here. That's just the start though. On the top of the stones will be these big gold crystals. So slap all of those on there and yeah, I still got to do the texturing. Oh yeah, now it's coming together. Also, would just like to point out that I gave him toenails. To really sell the gold ore element, I went ahead and added more stone texture across the creeper as well. And with a few finishing touches on the face, this golden creeper is ready to shine. I'm gonna make this ocelot perfect. Yeah, that was bad. My main problem with the ocelot is that it has absolutely no detail, so I painted it all yellow. Done. Obviously, totally kidding, but I did already like the shape of the ocelot, so I'll be making a few adjustments to the body, but the real work is going to be making its fur look much better, and adding these spots are definitely going to help. Then I put this pattern on its tail and legs too, and with a few more details, I feel pretty good about what the ocelot has turned into. One of the rarest villagers you can find is a millionaire villager. If this guy's got money, he's gonna need a super fancy suit, a little bow tie, a gold monocle, and a really bad toupee. Give him some money bags, and he's looking super rich. Zombies are traditionally kind of boring, so let's make it way better. Starting by giving it all these strips on its clothing. And to make it really cool, I'm gonna have acid flowing through its body. I'll also have its ribs showing through the body just like this. It might be a zombie, but the skeleton is awesome. Let's grab this neon green and use it on the eyes. Then I'm gonna remove his arm here and replace it with some corroded bone. When I think of zombies, I think of infections. So I'm gonna give it this giant mass on its shoulder. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Now that is a better zombie. Let's turn this sheep into a blood sheep. Remake the face to look like those super creepy Minecraft sheep and move the head forward to look down on its enemies. Next, I'll make the legs super long and beefy. These mobs are gonna freak even me out. Give it some extra wool bits here, and now it's time to make it bloody. The wool is a perfect canvas for this. Sweet, dude. Our blood sheep is ready. Let's see how it looks in-game. Let's turn this creeper into a fire elemental. Start by turning its skin to magma. Magma here, magma there, magma everywhere. Now brighten up the face. The fire explosions on this guy have got to be brutal. Next up, add an active volcano on top of its head. There's lava pouring out all down the side of that tiny volcano. I'm not sure how helpful having a full volcano on your head is, but we'll make it work. And this creeper is looking flaming hot. I kind of hate the texture for the spider eye. Let's make it into a really scary mob. Start with a dark red cube, then I'll turn the entire front of the cube here blinding white. Now I'm going to add this giant pupil. Yup, it is one giant spider eye. The spider eye item also has these gross pieces on it, so I'll have to add those to the head. And to do that, I'll make these horns. And also these extra little curvy bits. Now to get down to it, I'll start adding all those creepy tentacle parts all over the mob. Add some down here to act like legs. Once that's done, we really just need to do the texturing. I am almost horrified by my own creation, but here it is. Let's just see how this abomination looks in Minecraft. First, I'm going to create a bone mob. This one is going to be a bony spider. The Minecraft bone is long and skinny, so I decided to make each part of this spider's leg an individual bone, with joints and all. Copy it a couple of times, we'll eventually get all 8 legs in there. With the general shape done, it's time to start working on the eyes. Tons of super creepy here black eyes. Then I started getting to work, making the entire body super bony. I'm basically just erasing a ton of the work I did before, but trust me, it looks great. To make it really look like a skeleton, I need to darken all of the joints. I also added these grippy pincers to the front of the spider. It just felt right. Now I just need to bend all of the legs. Oh my gosh. Not to brag, but this looks incredible. But let's see how it actually looks in Minecraft. I'm going to make this iron golem possessed by a blood demon. Start by giving it eyes that are crying blood and these gross blood growths on the head. The arms are going to be long and bloody too. And don't forget the super sharp claws. I rotated the head of the iron golem to really give it that very possessed look. Now I just need to trap the rest of the body like this. For the left arm, it's going to have a blood sword. And the head of the monster will have red horns. Oh my word. This looks crazy. This blood golem came out amazing. We've got to see it in Minecraft. The rare version of a bee will be the queen bee. Build out that body with extra fuzzy stripes and a crown fit for a queen. A little color switch and her majesty is ready. We can make a wandering trader and door-to-door salesman. One human skull with human skin and of course some more realistic nostrils. Now we can beef up these arms and blow up his chest. And then it just has to make sense with some more proportionate legs. Golems are fearsome village guardians, but what if they were cuddly instead? This cuddly golem needs to be rounded out so it's extra cuddly. Give those arms some elbows so it can give proper hugs. We'll make his face more friendly with some teddy bear ears and a little snout. Final touches, and look at this big cuddly golem. This iron golem can become our ground sloth. Ground sloths didn't hang from trees to eat, they just stood up. So let's give this guy some extra height. We'll give it a muzzle instead of a flat face, extra long arms with clawed fingers for tearing off those leafy greens, and a big old tail for balance. Let's turn this sheep into a super scary monster. Stretch out the neck and give it this very scary face. For the body, I want to make it big and muscular. I would hate to see this kind of sheep chasing me. The sheep wool look isn't scary, so I made it look really scraggly. And the mouth has to be wide open, like a very dark void. Yeah. This thing is giving me the creeps. And this scary sheep is complete. Let's check it out in Minecraft. The glow squid is just a boring, boxy sea creature. So I'm gonna make it a ton better. I'll start by duplicating its head and stacking it on top of itself to make it much longer. Shave off the edges to shape it a little bit. It still needs to be a glow squid though, so I worked the same color scheme into it. I also like the idea of giving these glowing spines along its back. These eyes on the side of his head are goofy looking, but they'll work perfectly. And these really long tentacles will really make the whole thing come together. And now that is a new and improved glow squid. Let's see if we can take this slime and make a slime worm. First, it needs a dragon's head, then a springy, spiraling body like a snake. Give this curly worm some wings, a slimy green texture all throughout, and some slime dripping from his jaw. Let's turn this phantom into a phantom menace. Take this head and double it, then we're going to do the same for the wings. We'll lengthen that tail and add an extra fork to make feet. Add some toes and this menace could snatch you up. Free up those wings and it's ready to fly. The Enderman is already cool, but I think I can make some additions to make it even cooler. I'll start by changing the color to be a little bit more purple than black. Then I'll give it a lighter ribcage, also these pink eyes instead of the standard Enderman white eyes. Now to really add something new, these large pink crystal growths. And these crystals are super powerful, sending energy flowing through the Enderman veins. A little more pink and purple, a little bit here, a little bit there. And now the energy-infested Enderman is looking good. Now let's up the creepy level of this Enderman to a Dredgerman. First we'll make the base of the body that we can turn to smoke later. Then we'll get some long curly arms ready for grabbing. Start adding in the blocks for a bunch of extra heads all over. Add in a little shading and Enderman eyes. And turn that base into a massive smoke that all its limbs and heads are coming out of. Let's turn this little slime into a giant blood slime. We're going to need a lot more slime bodies. Now turn it all blood red and give it this goopy base. This part will become the face after I give it some yellow eyes. The mouth is going to be filled with sharp and bloody teeth, and I'll add these blood spikes all over the body. With some final texturing, our blood slime is ready for action. Let's just be sure not to get too close to it in-game. Time to turn this measly villager into a savage fighter. You know the drill, gotta pack on some muscle, add some iron armor bits here and there, splatter on some killer face paint, and a fighter is only as strong as his belt full of sharp weapons. Now that is a villager I would not want to mess with. This part of the sea will turn into a legendary sea serpent. Create the dragon-like head and add on the hearts of the sea as eyes. Give it a beautiful mouth full of pearly whites. Oh yeah, this serpent's head looks amazing. Now to get that slithery body. That's what I'm talking about, and that is what I call the heart of the sea. It would be super funny to turn a turtle into a walking pot of gold. Let's do it. We won't need that shell anymore, just remove it. Okay, it's quite cursed looking at a turtle without a shell. We shouldn't be looking at this too long. Like I said, it needs a pot of gold. So let's start by making this big black box. And it also definitely needs to hold gold, so we're going to have to hollow it out on the inside. Now it's time to fill that pot with tons and tons and tons of gold coins. Let's even turn the face of this turtle into a completely gold relic. That is by far the richest turtle I have ever seen. The Bone Boss skin from Fortnite could be perfect. Toss on the classic Bone Boss color to start, flatten out the skeleton skull, and stack them up on top of each other to build the layers to our Bone Boss head. And Bone Boss will have this tongue that always hangs way out. The olive toothpick has turned to bone here as well. Strap on the rib texture for now, then insert the Bone Boss belt. And what's the creeper's biggest downside? No arms! Let's fix that. We'll hunch this creeper over to be more like a gorilla where the arms are super strong. Oh man, this is looking really cursed right now. Gorilla arms? Check. Now that's the look of a creeper ready to take on the world. We could actually make the legendary Pokemon Zygarde. Let's start with his legs, pull this off, and beef it up. And we can build this complete form to bring out the Zygarde pores and cells. Balloon up this zombie torso to build a massive chest. Then build the location for Zygarde's head here. Add a few more green cells. Zygarde's complete form also has a super long tail and 2 wings coming off of each shoulder for 4 wings total. We already have blazes, but what happens when we use them to create a blaze rod moose? Sounds crazy, let me show you. I'm starting here with a body shape just like this. And I also put blaze rod and powder textures into Blockbench bunch to get a feel for just how to use them. I ended up being able to turn the blaze powder into a tail and the rods into these antler pieces. But being antlers, I couldn't stop there. I had to make more branching off parts, also blaze rod textured. Of course, I just went ahead and gave it this really derpy looking face and then got to work on the texturing. I thought it looked cool for the legs to look like blaze skin. The saturation was a little bit too low, so I turned that up and the texture looked fire. Get it? As a last touch, I also added these crimson funguses. Fungi? Whatever. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this one to turn out so good, but let's see how this spicy boy looks in game. Let's turn this firework into an explosive companion. Keep the general firework shape and colors, but we're gonna give it some long ears and a snout. And let's turn the fuse into a puppy tail. Lots of red and white stripes, almost like a candy cane, but add that adorable face, and this pup rocket will be ready to be set off. Time to make a gas tear that cries real tears. Start with the blue teardrop shape. Shade it to stay true to the original gas tear. Give it a very distraught face, and finish off with gas tears coming out of the eyes. That is one sad teardrop. This chicken is about to become a glorious golden farm animal. I'm going to start by fixing its beak, because right now it is just this boring, dull, yellow square. I also made its head really big, like this, which looks really weird right now. But that's why I'm gonna make its body way bigger. It'll be one plump chicken. Shrink this back part and make it into a tail feather. To really sell that this chicken is truly golden, I gave it this mineral patch on its back, almost like a tiny little volcano. After that, I started texturing all these golden feathers. Then I gave it blue eyes and a bright orange beak. Now it's really starting to look cool. Looks like these rock parts could use a few finishing touches. Oh, I can't wait to see what this thing does in game. Now I have a genius idea. Turn a redstone block into a redstone mob. You do not want to miss this one. I'll start by adding this red face cube with super big bug eyes on the front. Then a hat. Here you go, buddy. Just kidding. Shrink it down and turn it into 2 redstone antennae. Like this. Voila. This one isn't long enough though, so let's add some more cubes for a chunky backside. Now for the best part, the wings. I've made so many wings in my videos, and I feel like they're always the most satisfying part to watch. Now for the teensy tiny little feet. Can you even walk on those? You know what time it is now? Super epic texture time. Boom, bah, boom. And our redstone mob is looking awesome. But let's see how it looks in Minecraft. Oh gosh. Those legs are stuck in the ground. Fly, fly, fly away. Let's turn a chicken into an adorable baby dragon. We know he needs a head with itty bitty horns and some sloppy little ears. Some tiny little arms and legs. Look at those little wings. An adorable face wearing a broken eggshell on its head. And this baby dragon is looking cute. Alright guys, I have a totally crazy idea for making this Enderman golden. I'm going to go ahead and stretch its body out. Put its head back on it, just like this. Bend backwards a bit. And here's my crazy idea. I'm going to put a mouth with golden teeth on its stomach. And also have this giant tongue sticking out of it. This is going to look extremely odd in-game. I moved the eyes down to the torso too, and now look. This crazy Enderman is as good as gold. Get it? It's time to turn a phantom membrane into a phantom menace, just like Star Wars. And I'm going to start with the phantom mob this time, but I'm going to cut the wings off and replace them with these giant phantom membrane textures. It looks kind of goofy right now, but you can see the vision. Adding them like this will make it feel a little bit like a dragonfly. To keep that up, I also gave it some antenna. Now it's time to give it some legs. Can you believe they never had these? Now for a little tail piece too, also looking like the membrane, of course. Stretch that face forward and pull it up to look a little more like an insect, and it's going to be ready to rock. Let's check it out in game. Let's make the villager better by turning it into a hero villager. To be a hero, he needs to have the clothes of a warrior, and every warrior needs armor. Being a villager though, emerald armor is perfect. I gave it a mask like this, but not even that can cover that giant nose. Back to the emerald clothes. Let's give him a sparkly belt and some much shinier armor. Super duper shiny. Now for the best part, the sword. Of course, I had to make the villager sword emerald as well. That is perfection. Let's see how he looks in Minecraft. Now, one golden skeleton coming right up. The skull shape for the skeleton is kind of weird, so I'm going to change it a bit. Give it a full mouth full of golden teeth, then form a little rib cage stage here, making it golden too. The skeleton also should have a helmet of pure, rock-solid gold to guard that thick skull. Some shoulder guards and golden bracelets as well will fit in perfectly. And there you have it. A very creepy, ultra-rich golden skeleton. Now I'm going to remake this pumpkin pie as a walking pumpkin pie corpse. First, I'm going to need to make a 3D pumpkin pie shape. And after that, I'll add the body to it, shape in some legs as well as the arms, then paint the entire thing pumpkin pie brown. He's looking super tasty so far. Turn its face into pie crust, and now the scary part. I'm going to give it this boiling scarecrow face right in the pie. Now I'm going to make it so that you can see the pie filling through the monster's ribs. Make this light-colored spine go all the way down its body, then retexture the whole thing to be a beautiful blended pie color. Now I'm not sure if I'll be eating pumpkin pie or if it's going to eat me, but let's find out. Let's remake the largest dinosaur, the Brachiosaurus. Using this mushroom, extend out this mushroom head quite a ways, the forehead top angle of ball horn portion, and this head needs to be thousands of feet in the air, connected by one massive neck. And then we could use the mushroom body way down here. He's actually kind of a long boy. And turn these little mushroom legs into the trunks of the Brachiosaurus legs. Let's bring to life this tiny little liquid container. Shape out this blue bottle, connecting some arms and legs as we go. The bottle is see-through, so make this little guy out of glass. The water bottle will need to see where it's walking, so we can't forget the giant eye. And it's looking ready to go. Just please don't trip and fall. Let's turn this strider into a real-life water strider. Switch this leg into a big, long, lanky leg. Now, we can still use the head and pull out the start of what will be the body. Extend it across all the legs, then we just need an authentic bug head to toss on. Look at those feelers. Let's turn this skeleton into a golden skeleton. First thing, make it gold. Then we'll make the face way creepier with some deeper glowing eyes. Add a crown on his head, and on top of its old clothes will be a ton of flashy bling. Some rubies, a huge gold chain, perfect. I'll start by making the scariest creeper you have ever seen. We'll need to give it a whole new shape, and the legs, they need to be very long, with huge claws on the end. It's almost like a praying mantis creeper, but the colors are just slightly off, so let's work on that. I added these killer arms as well. Now for the face. We need to give it that iconic creeper look, but make it scarier with pink and blood. Now this creeper is ready to go. Let's see how it looks in game. We should turn this skeleton into a Dilophosaurus. First we'll grab the skeleton head, and the Dilophosaurus head looks completely different than any other dinosaur. And it also has two big colorful crests of bone that stick out. These skeleton bones can build the skeletal structure here too. Then add some flesh. Now the front legs and the back legs. The Dilophosaurus is also really similar in size to the Velociraptor. We can remake the Headless Horseman using this skeleton. Delete this head, obviously, because he's headless, mysteriously all black, but muscularize his frame significantly. Add the classic purple collar where his head would be sitting if he had one, and extend his magnificent cape all the way down. Last up, this golden apple will become a superhero. Start with the gorgeous golden apple base, add a stem. Now it's looking like, well, an apple. Now for some arms and a cape. Now we're talking. Next is the face, so smug looking. Now that is one super apple. This fox is about to become a venomous poison elemental. Start by giving it this toxic purple fur. To really sell the poisonous feel, even the eyes will be a vibrant magenta. It's basically a kitsune, so it'll need a mane and distinct markings. Make that tail way longer. The ends of the tails will be poison tipped and start to multiply them. Tails! Count them! 9 tails! And this poison fox is ready to go. Let's turn this wolf into a werewolf. Pop his head off first. We're gonna need to stand this wolf up quite a ways. Let's also beef up his back legs, making him a bit more sturdy. Texture him with some werewolf fur all over, with dark eyes and red pupils that you can spot in the night. And also some very, very, very sharp teeth. For this next one, hear me out. I'm gonna turn this raw chicken into, well, raw chicken. Let me show you. Start by making this chicken nugget shape. Then I continued by basically just making a Minecraft chicken, but tan. Painted all this naked chicken color, add the eyes. I know this looks super ridiculous right now, hold on. But then we're gonna make the legs look like chicken drumsticks. I went ahead and textured the entire chicken to look like Minecraft's raw chicken item. Boom, raw chicken, put them off. I know, this is actually really dumb, but let's see how it looks in game. Let's turn this wolf into into a monitor lizard. First we'll work on making that wolf body shape into a big lizard. That means a nice long neck and tail, plus its legs are way lower to the ground like that. Since it's a reptile, we'll need to shade it with pebbly lizard skin all over its body. And finally, give its feet some toes and sharp claws. This needs to look exactly like a human. Realistic facial features. I guess we'll include a unibrow as well. We'll bring in a solid muscular base and a realistic leg, then add some realistic skin tone to it with the most realistic sandals for a freezing foot. The best way to make the best feather is by turning it into a vampire bat. Give it some clawed feet to attack and also hang from things. Make those eyes a scarlet red, fit on some super sharp pink, and let's make these wings a whole lot cooler. This bloodthirsty bat is ready to be unleashed. This suspicious stew is getting ready to come to life. I'll create this bowl to hold a stew monster and form this hand coming out of it. Give it fingers, to walk with, and finish it with that green and purple texture. For a magma cube, we shall make a magma-mander. Like a salamander, but magma. That means we need way more body than this little head. So we'll build it a long body with a tail to match. Extra curvy and windy for slithering through lava flows. And some short but strong legs for running across hot magma. We'll make its texture pop with some extra cracks of lava coming through. Those details are fire. We'll make this Enderman into an Ender Hydra. To be a Hydra, this guy's gonna need at least 3 heads. So we'll give it a base body with a super long tail to balance out those extra heads. And add some strong legs to support that extra weight. Take that head and triple it. Look at that massive dragon. First, I'm going to be remaking a piece of bread into a bread house. I'm going to be working from the actual Minecraft food items as well. I'll start by making this long piece of bread. Create some legs for our doughy friend to walk on. And here's a little dog head too. I decided to recolor the entire thing so that it looked a lot more like bread. It's looking honestly quite a bit like a hot dog right now. Hot dog, get it? That's funny. But we're going to need a bread hound, so I'll need to work on the texture a bit. Next, I think this canine is going to need a delicious looking face. I don't think you're ready for this one. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. But let's see how it looks in game. Now we've got to turn a zombie into an undead dragon. Some twisted looking horns, a nice thick body. We'll give it a pouch on its throat to hold acid so it can shoot out. Then we'll make it look undead with some gnarly flesh and bones, super grungy. We may already have a magma cube, but what if we turned magma cream into its own mob? Let's do it. I started by making this goopy block to be the base for the mob. And now that I'm happy with the shape, I'll get to work on the face. It won't be anything crazy though. I'll just use the slime and magma cube as inspiration. I always thought it was weird that magma cream had green in it, but here goes nothing. Time to add green. I decided to make the color gradient from green to red, just like the magma cream. I wasn't sure at first, but that actually looks cool. Now it's time to blend it all. It looks like it's covering up the face though, so let me fix that. There we go. Much better. I also decided to add the extra translucent layer, just like slimes. I think Magma Cream Mob is ready to go, but let's check it out in Minecraft. For converting this villager into a villager of gold, let's make him into the royal king of the village. I'm thinking a red silky robe is going to help him stand out. And physically, he'll have to be super strong too. Look at those quads. This guy could squat like 400. We'll duplicate the head and turn it into a golden crown. Just bear with me here for a second. I promise it's going to look better. We've added a rim along the golden crown. This red onesie isn't really what I was going for, so let's fix it up. A flowing golden cape and some ultra stylish golden shades are essential for this guy. And this kid is ready to rule the village. Alright folks, let's turn this gas to blood. Start with the tentacles and splash red all over the head. Then texture in this creepy looking face. Look, this may be one of the most disturbing mobs I have ever made. I added some blood bubbles around the body and then gave it these horrifying eyes. This one is getting super creepy. I'm not sure if I really want to see this in game or not, but our gas is complete and ready to go. Time to heat up this snow golem into a lava golem. First we're going to turn the head into a warped pumpkin. It'll need a stem up top and a warped color. Turn these snow blocks into lava blocks, and some blaze rods for the arms will be perfect. Looking hot. For an Ender Elite, we need to make this guy way more intimidating. We'll start by making those lazy eyes fierce. Then open up its jaw flashier mouth, start building some tall, glowing horns, and we'll add a bunch more until he's got a whole crown of them to show off. Now we'll build up that body so we can give him spikes and plating all over his body like armor, and add the Enderman glow to really show off the details that make this Enderman elite. And of course, can't forget leg day. I've got an axe to grind, and to bring to life actually. We'll start taking the head and duplicating it, but now it's looking a little bit like a mallet. So we need to break off the edge, extend and sharpen our side out, and clone that head once again. Add some eyes, eyebrows, and fang-equipped teeth. And we're looking good to start chopping. An iron golem is perfect to make an armored dragon. Our armored boy needs to be extra thick and bulky. Stubby legs and tail with a huge head and heavy body. This guy's basically got a hammer for a head and armor plating all over. We'll color in so he's like made up of rocks and ores. Look at this beefy boy with his little wings. Now we'll turn this cobblestone block into a super hungry monster. A gobblestone, if you will. Get it? No? Alright. This mob will need to be a lot bigger, so let's duplicate a ton of cobblestone blocks all together. Now that I have the shape, let's start to get to work. And some little legs down here, and some arms up there. And turn this hand into a 4-fingered fist. Why not 5? Because the cobblestone is unique. Okay? I wanted to give it these yellow eyes that really stood out as well. Then I gave it this giant jaw, to eat stone with. And then I decided to add moss to the mob, to give some love to mossy cobblestone. Moss to the mob, moss to the mob, moss to the mob. I worked the green moss into the cracks of the cobblestone just like this. Now I think the cobblestone monster is ready to rock and roll. But let's see how it looks in game. I'm going to start by remaking this villager into a blood villager. For the eyes, black and red. I'll make the mouth wide open and terrifying, and give it some very creepy teeth like this. To make it extra scary, I'll bend the body forward and add these blood stains all over. I also decided to give it this super long bloody tongue and make it fall out of the mouth like that. This bloody villager looks amazing. Let's see how it looks in game. Let's turn this sheep into a reindeer. Raise up that hat, add a snout and some floppy ears. Then we'll work on those iconic reindeer antlers. Some legs for leaping, add a splash of color, and then shade it up to finish up. Let's make a better piglin brute. To make it a real brute, we'll need to give it a beefier body and build out that head to be more pig-shaped. For the eyebrows, I went with a real angry look and added some much better tusks on top. I plopped on some big old ears and gave this big guy a belly button. This brute is going to need some muscles. I want these piglins to be fierce, so here are some feet claws. All piglins love gold, so let's give him some. Now, for a fresh new hairstyle, the hog mohawk. With the final details all complete, our piglin brute is ready to go. Let's see this guy get to battle. I'll turn this skeleton into a 4-legged blood skeleton. Start by turning the skeletal body into a much better rib cage and bend it forward. Like I said, it'll be on all fours. Make these arms long and copy them over to make them into the legs as well. Ooh, it's very cursed looking. I also wanted to give it a better skeleton face, paint it all red, and then start to give it this amazing blood texture. Here's some little blood eyes. And my favorite part, this Steve arm that it has ripped off and is biting down on. This one is looking spooky. Let's see it in Minecraft. I'm going to make this villager scary by turning it into a tentacle monster. Let's remove the head. Yep, we won't be needing that. And turn the whole body purple. My idea is to have tons of tentacles coming out of the villager's neck. That's disgusting. So let's make those tentacles. I added little suction cups to them like this, and then made tons of tentacles shooting out in all directions. For the hands, yeah, those are going to be tentacles too. This is one terrifying tentacle monster, and it's looking awesome. I've never seen a villager like this before. It's probably good. I think we're ready. The scary villager is complete. Let's check it out in game. I spy with my little eye a spyglass. Get real close. We'll extend the spyglass far, making sure each of the segments are still proportional. Then we add in a very, very adorable face, throw in a little bit of curvature, and we're ready to see what this thing can do. This Enderman will be perfect to remake into Slenderman. First, let's give him his featureless white face with his plain black suit and open it up slightly to give him his usual business suit look with a simple black tie. Then the abnormally long fingernails and sprout the tentacle-like appendages out of his back. And this glowstone dust is about to become a bright and cheery companion. Form it into a light bulb shape, retexture this base to look a little bit more like metal. Oh, and look at those adorable eyes. Let's take this creeper and make it into a full-speed sprinter. Move that head down here, switch out that narrow body so we can build a thick cannon in its place. He may look heavy, but this guy's gonna move extra fast and make a blast. Now for those legs. They have to be a lot longer and stronger to support that cannon. Try running away from this guy's explosions. We'll turn this salmon into a shark. You're gonna need a way bigger body, buddy. That means bigger fins all around too and a bulkier head. Once we've got the shape right, we can start adding some color and details to get the look of our new shark mob. Can't forget those gills or the teeth. And for the golden zombie, let's go for a golden fungal infestation. We're gonna need some room to build out all this fungus though. So I'll start by removing the arms and the head. I may have given him a hunchback. Sorry man, now it's time to add in some golden mushrooms. I think it would be quite fitting to put the bulk of this infestation on his back. Oh man, this guy's gonna look funky. To give some more detail, we'll also rip his shirt a bit. First it got infected into a zombie, now it's been taken over by mushrooms. Brutal. And with the infection, a completely golden skull has become visible. That is one zombie I would not want to mess with, unless I could kill it and get the gold. We'll make this sheep into a sheep of many faces. Let's add some extra sheep bodies in every direction. Then we'll give each sheep face a different expression. Along with the happy face, we'll need an evil face, a sad face, a super shocked expression, and an angry yelling face with some super scary teeth and eyes. How about we make this Vindicator into a lawyer? This lawyer is going to have a super sharp hairdo, a little work on those hands. Got to make sure he's got a fancy suit for court as well. This mushroom will be a Glypto Armadillo, aka a Glyptodon. Lower that head and body down so its proportions are shorter. We'll make it a super armored shell for its back to protect it, some proper feet, a head with a nice hard helmet, and this tail is going to be super strong when whipping back and forth to bash its enemies. Now, let's turn this prismarine shard into a prismarine shark. This body shape will be long, with a mouth kind of like this, but we're just getting started. I'll use the prismarine shards all across the body to make fins for the shark. Honestly, I could stop here. I think we already have a pretty good mob, but let's keep going. I added some gills to the side and a lot of texturing all around the shark. I also wanted to give some glow to the shark, just like the sea lanterns found in ocean monuments. And you might not see them super well, but I added some teeth too. Yeah, this shark is looking great. Alright, enough funny business. Let's check it out in game. Now a realistic sheep should look far more cozy. But first, let's just drop this leg and put on a real sheep's leg. And now, a whole ton of comfy sheep fur. And we can pretty much use the usual head, just texture it up slightly, and then just add on a far more authentic sheep snout. Let's turn this gas creepy by making it ancient. We'll stack up some extra body here to make it bigger, extend those tentacles to be way longer. This creepy gas needs extra eyes and a huge mouth. Fill that maw full of teeth and get those details just right for a creepy ancient gas. First up is everybody's favorite weapon, the diamond sword. I want this sword to be extra pointy, so let's duplicate the sharp end to add not one, but two blades. Make sure everything is centered and tidy, then take the stick portion of the handle and stretch it out. Now stretch it even further and turn it into two whole legs. Now transform that grip into an eyeball that it can use to see, and this sword is good for swinging. Stick monster time. Then the stick to become a big ol' mouth, carve out some wooden hands, now let it hold a bamboo sword, and finally, the eyes. This might be a hot take, but iron golems are pretty dull, so we're gonna bring some real life to it. Start by making him way bigger, even bigger. After giving him these big shoulders, I'll need to move his arms out like this too. Give some more shape to his legs. Let's go for a cybernetic powered golem with some blue eyes. And on top of that, let's give him his power core. And as a little detail to make it super realistic, let's add this cube to the core. To make it more metallic too, I added some detail on his fist. And finally, even though it's more metallic, metallic, I also added onto the mossy exterior of the golem. And this golem is truly ready to protect a village. You didn't think that I'd leave out the grass block, did you? Let's go ahead and turn it into a giant earth piece. We're gonna need a lot of dirt pieces, and I mean a lot. We'll have this part be the head, and add a jaw down here out of stone. I want to have some sort of plant on its back, so I'm going to use some azalea plants for that. The details really matter here, so I started getting to work on some little grassy bits. But I also need to work on the face, so I made the eyes like this. It kind of looks like a big earth cow, and I'm about it. I also thought it would be fitting to turn some leaves into a messy, grassy haircut. Now for some stony toes, and finally, the tail made of dirt. Now look at that beefy mob. It almost blends into the background, but let's see how it looks in game. We're gonna make this silverfish look realistic. Extend that body with some extra bits, add a bunch of long, creepy legs. Silverfish have those kind of straight segments, a little color to the legs, and this little guy is ready to get crawling. Let's turn this normal fish into a creepy spider fish. First, we'll start on those legs, all 8 of them, and our spider fish will need some pinchers for biting. Fill in those legs with some spider puzz, and add in those extra eyes to up the creepy factor. Next up, I'm gonna remake cookies into Cookie Monster. Start with making a flat base, then start to build it out into a monster body sort of shape. Give it some beefy arms. This guy definitely hits arm day. And I'll also give him some individual fingers. This is really feeling almost cursed. Now let's start to work on that Cookie Monster face. Oh yeah, I'm feeling good about the shape of this one. Turn the whole thing brown, then give it some derpy looking eyes. I'm going to use the cocoa beans to make a whole mouth full of teeth. Would it be considered cannibalism for a Cookie Monster to eat cookies? I mean, he literally is made out of cookies. I'll texture on some cocoa bean spots all over its body, and with some final texturing, this guy's looking solid. Let's see how the Cookie Monster looks in game. For a creepy zombie, I'm inspired by the clickers from The Last of Us. That means we need to split open this head with tons of fungus growing out of it. We'll need a lot of blocks sprouting out of its head like so. Then we'll add more green fungus growing out of its body all over. Some on the arms here, a little bit on the legs. Add in a mouth for biting and infecting to make this guy good to go. Time for the enchanted book to take on the world. First off, make a book. Give it some really judgy eyes, and then shred these pages into sharp teeth. This book looks like it might return you to the library. Now I'm going to make this spider into a bloodthirsty spider. Remove the head and change it to be this super scary blood spider skull with a giant mouth of very dangerous teeth. Can't forget to have blood dripping from the mouth because why not? And now for the bloody legs. This blood spider is really coming together so far, but the legs are going to be what makes it amazing. Place those to look just right. And now our blood spider is ready to rock. Don't know why I keep making scarier spiders every single video. The Iron Golem, the perfect candidate to turn pure gold. I'm gonna start by removing these arms. Don't worry, buddy, I'll give them back. Blast them with this eye-burning yellow and make them a whole lot thicker. Not really a fan of this big nose, so I'm gonna use it to make him a golden crown. This golden color isn't quite right yet, so I'll start with a bit of shading. There it is. That is the kind of gold I want. Okay, I may have spent way too much time trying to get this golden texture just right. I didn't want there to only be gold though, so I decided to give it these cobblestone arms, but they are turning out great. Then after finishing up some details on this guy's face, I think the iron, nope, scratch that. The gold golem is ready to rock. Let's put this squid on water and make it into a toadstool. Get rid of those extra legs and make the last two extra tall. Gotta be mushroom colored, of course. Add little spots and give it a face that's kinda creepy. And done. Let's turn this skeleton into a skeletal dragon. This head needs to be a giant dragon skull. We'll build out that body and turn these bones into legs. And then let's make these blocks into bones. It's about time the glow squid is able to fend for itself. We'll start by making its head more bulbous. Add one eye for general seeing purposes. Pull off these tentacles and make them way stronger. This glow squid almost looks like a kraken now. Unleash the glow squid. I'll turn this chicken into swamp thing. For
First, we have to make this chicken a whole lot bigger, add some muscles on the arms, then color it a swampy green color. And then we gotta texture it far more plant-like, maybe even toss in a flower or two. It's kinda cute. And then we've gotta grow all this plant swamp over Swamp Thing's face as well.
First, let's give life to this lava bucket. Let's start by forming the bucket itself, give it some lava arms to walk on, but it is one angry face. And the lava bucket is looking spicy. We'll make a triceratops from this cow. Beef up these brains. The triceratops is juicy big. And he's got large horns pointing out the front of his head, with a large bony shield right behind it to make his head mega strong. One of the chunkiest chunks of body yet. And the triceratops also have sort of stubby legs, but all of them are super strong. Let's make his horns look just a little bit more authentic too. So let's make this phantom a true goldish Grim Reaper. Spice up that body and make a human figure. This phantom is looking like a dragon right now, but stick with me. Stretch out the clothes to look like a cape, and add a mysterious hood to mask the creepy monster. This phantom looks ready to go collect some souls. Let's make this chorus fruit into a walking chorus plant. Take the fruit and turn it into a purple circle. Build out this stalk so it can be the body. What's a plant without leaves? Smack on some super sharp teeth, and this chorus fruit is ready and horrifying. From this phantom, we'll make a phantaxel. Elongated that beak and add some extra teeth. That body needs to be way bigger. Support a larger wingspan to fly faster and farther. Lengthen up that tail, and why not two? We'll double the wings too with a smaller second set. Ready for takeoff. Normally we shear sheep for wool, but what if the sheep did the shearing? Let's stand this sheep up on 2 feet so it can be a barber. Give this guy some stylish looking clothes, a little mustache perhaps, a little extra styling on that'll do, and he's ready to get to work. I'm going to turn this creeper into a blood creeper. Remove the legs and stretch them out. Then turn it all blood red. These legs are now way scarier. I'm going to give the blood creeper this very long torso too, and bend it forward like this. I then made the mouth and added some white eyes. For the teeth, I made these sharp pieces. We need to get a better blood texture though, and also add some creepy little points. After making it very bloody, our creeper is ready to be put in Minecraft. This witch will become one with nature by becoming a wood witch. Let's change the witch's skin to be more bark-like. Keep everything that makes a witch, but that hair has gotta go. Turn it to grass. After changing the body and clothes to match the rest of it, this witch looks crazy cool. Add some shoulder branches here and there. Perfect. The wood witch is ready to become Mother Nature. Oh, I want to take another star and turn it into another sheep because I feel like it. And guess what we're starting with? A sheep. Shocker. I know I want to use the Nether Star color palette for the mob, but I went ahead and threw on the entire Nether Star item first. And then I did it again and again. Now it's an entire Nether Star mane. I made the eyes yellow and the mouth blue. Honestly, kind of freaky. This kind of makes it look more like a bull, but I decided to add these blue horns. I'll use more parts of the Nether Star to create these star piece toenails, and then put on more Nether Stars. You get a Nether Star. You get a Nether Star. Then I'll splash some color all over it to make it perfectly fit the Nether Star theme. Man, I've said Nether Star more than I ever have in my entire life. And it's ready to go. Never have I seen a mob like this. Yeah, that one was bad. We'll just have to check it out in Minecraft. This pig is about to become an air elemental and prove everybody wrong. Let's cover this whole body blue and add a blue arrow on its head, just like the master of all elements. Turn its eyes yellow. I think it's staring into my soul. Now the moment you've been waiting for. Wings. Get ready, little piggy. It's time to take to the skies. Let's turn this wolf into a creepy shadow hound. First we'll splash some black on all that white fur and start adding onto its body so it'll look like it's a living shadow when we're done. An extra creepy glowing face and grin to haunt your dreams. Add in some detail on all those shadows, and we'll top it off with a bright red color for man's worst friend. Let's improve this piglet brute by turning it into a fearsome warrior. Start by making his baby tusks into some pointed weapons. Bulk out this body, he'll need a bit more meat on those little bones. and tone up those muscles. This piglin never misses a single day at the gym. A true warrior needs to be equipped with some armor. This guy will be topped off with a golden pauldron. Now that's what I call a piglin brittle. I personally really like the ghast as a mob, but I think we can make it more interesting. I'm gonna need to make this ghast a blank canvas first. Ghasts are known for always having their eyes shut, but I think having giant open eyes is gonna make it better. These tentacles will also be better by being way longer. Then duplicate them over all the others. It's looking a little goofy right now, but trust me, we'll fix it. Yep, this ghast is absolutely better. Let's turn this Enderman into a football player from Mario. How about charging Chuck? Pull off these teeny arms and teeny legs, fatten up this chest so it can be huge. Plug in some classic blue shoulder pads and some football pads on charging Chuck's legs too. Then I'll attach the football cleats. And a burly Koopa is gonna have an interesting face, okay? Now his helmet and his face guard to match. Oh, and we definitely have to add the other legs. Time to turn this Enderman into a blood Enderman. Remove the head, but don't delete it, we'll use it later. Because I'm going to make the blood Enderman hold its own head. Turn the eyes red and create long blood tentacles coming out of the neck. Wrap them around like this and make it a very bloody mess. Sounds kind of British. Bloody mess. But actually, it is a blood mob after all. Back to business. Let's fix them out and give it more blood. Oh yeah, this blood Enderman looks insane. Let's test it out in game. I think sweet berries would make a cool three-headed plant mob. So let's get to work. I started with a pretty generic looking flower shape, then I added some green bits for leaves, and replaced the berry parts with these little red cubes. It's gotta be a mob though, so here's some little eyes, and I said three-headed, so let's just duplicate it a couple of times, and they can't just be floating there, so I'll need to attach them to the plant part. This one is pretty simple, but I'm really happy with how the sweet buddies came together. Couldn't you just eat them right up? Like literally eat them? I think I could eat them. But now we gotta see how it looks in game. Let's use this phantom to make a pterodactyl. We're gonna need this little head to make it a much longer, thinner head. And the main body we can use, but it just needs to be quite a bit bigger. This pterodactyl's gonna need a strong core to hold its wings. Grab these teeny little wings and bring on this massive wingspan. These look far more capable. Next, put your rock and metal together for flint and steel. First, we're gonna cheat just a little bit and start with a lead that'll hold everything. We'll detach it, stretch it out, and retie it all together. Then stick a big old block in there and retexture it so you know that it's iron. Attach flint to the front of our tiny train and add a couple layers for depth, a face, and some arms to get some sparks flying. I have got a great idea for this next one. We're gonna take a saddle and turn it into a rideable speed mob. I'll need to start by making this base for the saddle, then go straight to the eyes. Duplicate this bit and bring it down. This is going to become the mouth. Then I'll bring the whole thing up. It's gonna need some strong legs in order for it to be a speed. Speaking of legs, let's make them. I thought it would look cool to have the feet look like the buckle on a saddle. I'm just not quite feeling the color though, so let's fix that. Now it's texturing time. A little bit here, a little bit there. Now to make those buckle feet metallic colored. And now for the saddle. It's almost like I'm giving him a hat. As an added touch, I also gave it a tongue. This saddle mob is looking awesome. But let's check it out in Minecraft. This guy will be approved to become a raging bull. Add in some torso segments and some beefy legs to start. Shade in that body and slap on that golden nose ring. His eyes are still super derpy though. Give it some sharp horns so that it can ram into enemy mobs. Alright. I'll change the derpy eyes to be bloodshot. Next, I'm going to turn gunpowder into a cute little monster. I'll start by creating this little gunpowder shaped mound, then add this blocky shape to become the face. This is going to be its mouth, so I need to open it up. This little gunpowder mob is going to be kind of crab shaped, so I'll give it these eyes. Hey, it's looking pretty cute already. Now to make the legs. And duplicate them. Look at that. He can do the splits. Don't worry, we'll fix the legs. I just need to do a bit of texturing. Now back to those legs. Let's make sure they bend a little bit. Oh yeah, this is one lit gunpowder mob. But to get the full effect, we've got to check it out in Minecraft. Let's turn this zombie into a mummy. Instead of the classic Minecraft green skin, let's go for an authentic rotted skin color. A pair of mummified yellow eyes, then start wrapping them up in the mummy bandages. Arms too, body and legs, with one mummy bandage string hanging loose off the side. Let's use this spider. Let's put a big mouth on this little guy. Extend that body and add a long tail. Little legs that are strong enough to move that bulky body around. Cover this guy in scales and shading all over for the perfect alligator skin. And of course, a sharp set of chompers. Let's remake this creeper into a Pachycephalosaurus. Round out his head a little bit with little spikes that run outwardly around the head and the multicolored texturing. Dupe this creeper body for another long body with a pair of little front legs and bigger back legs as typical, and the classic yellow eyes. This poisonous potato is about to become a spiteful little spud. Let's begin with this potato-ish shape and a face that has grown out of this monstrosity. Slap on a sprout here and there. Finish it off with these putrid gas bubbles floating above it. I might get sick just looking at this thing. Spiders are already scary, but I think we can make them way scarier. So I'm going to make a skeletal spider. This whole skull part is going to become the spider's head. I decided to keep the little spider eyes and make them white because spider eyes are already so creepy. I'm not quite sure what this is. Perhaps maybe a brain? We're going full bone spider, so the teeth will be skeletal too. These legs here need to be completely reworked, so I made them all bony like this. After some last touches, I think the scary spider is looking great. But let's see if it looks good in Minecraft.
We could turn this wolf into Krampus, the beast of Christmas. First, we'll stand the wolf upright, then we need to turn the usual Minecraft wolf into a beastly werewolf. So extend this tail way out and build on extra long fingernails, texture some beastly skin, and then Krampus in Legend has some extremely long horns.
Now bosses need to be made better too, so let's fix up the wither. I'll start by making the head much more skull-like, and I'll also give it this open jaw. Skull faces for the other heads too. These ribs need to be built out a little bit more as well. I think black smoke all around it will make it super, super awesome. Oh yeah, this is looking awesome. This better wither is complete. Let's see what it looks like in game. A wither skeleton can be our wither wraith. Let's give him some bow arms and then triple those heads. Skeletons are kind of boring. Let's drastically improve them. Begin with making it a triple-headed monster. Have tons of bony arms growing out of the amalgamation. Give it a long and pointy tailbone for balance. And oh boy, this is one ferocious skeleton if I've ever seen one. We only have regular bees in Minecraft. What we need is a queen bee to rule them all. I'll use some bee bodies to make a bigger bee shape. Can't forget to give it some stripes. The bee is going to need some super large eyes too. I also added these legs, even though you can really barely see them. What's a queen bee without a crown, right? A giant stinger to defend all the loyal bees, and to finish it off, some giant wings to lift up that big heavy bee. I believe this is ready to go. Get it? Believe. Time to make one of the worst nether mobs better, the magma cube. Instead of just being a cube, I want the entire front of it to be a giant mouth. And that mouth will be completely made of lava. So we'll get to color it super bright orange. That is looking fire. Now, with the mouth done, let's give it a lava tongue and some spikes. But to give it layers, I wanted to make them out of stone, like this. Then build out some sharp spikes too. Now that is a much better magma cube. Let's see it in Minecraft. This magma cube will be our magma drake. We'll make it low to the ground and a salamander shape. Give it a curly tail and scales like magma and lava. That's one hot drake. This blaze will become our dark blaze. Take out all that fiery color and make it monochrome. We'll turn the head into a skeleton, and the blaze rods, we'll turn those into swords. This creeper will be our wyvern creeper. First, of course, is making that head into a dragon. Give it some flaring horns, give him a body and a set of legs. And a wyvern has its wings and arms combined. Give it back that creeper coloring, and it's ready to rock. Let's make a golem that could defend against anything. Build out the torso to really add on some bulk. Create some rugged but sturdy arms and legs. We can't forget the fingers. Splash on some elemental stone textures, and finish off with the classic mossy growths along its back. Improved golem at your service. Before the brush
ends up in Minecraft, let's add it in ourselves. We'll orient the brush so it isn't walking on its stick and extend those bristles to create some arms. Now slap on a friendly face and add some ruffled up bristles to show just how scared the brush is to enter Minecraft. Let's turn this wolf into the ancient and powerful dire wolf. With the size this wolf will be, it won't need to be part of a pack. Give it some strong legs and a bushy tail. That is not your pet dog. Etch in some extra tufts of hair in its fur, and now this beast might be a little bit too scary to be man's best friend. Let's take away this Enderman's water weakness and make it an aquatic Enderman. Start by painting that skin blue. It's looking like a character from Avatar so far. Slap on some gorgeous blue eyes. Ah, you look beautiful. What's a water Enderman without some scales? To further dive into that water field, here are some rings surrounding its arms. Last up, a bubble to cover its head. It might be a water elemental, but it still needs to breathe. And there it is, the H2O Enderman. We can turn this creeper into this thing called a bombardier beetle because they actually shoot explosives. Tilt the body up, just drop the head right out of the way. We need a much larger body. And the antenna bits, and then we can add the explosive sack. Authentic beetle legs? Slide them on! We can remake a Demogorgon using this villager. We'll need to replace his clothes, texturing a more ripped skin look. Lanky arms with long crooked fingers. The villager head needs to have the dark Demogorgon opening, and the large opening mouthpieces will keep scattered throughout, with a pair of longer legs and sharper toes. We're gonna remake this fox into a velociraptor, transforming this fox head similar to the T-Rex, but also much smaller. And a velociraptor has a far thinner neck than a T-Rex has. Then we'll use the fox body and fox tail here to finish this body off. Similar back legs to a T-Rex, but just not quite as beefy. And these toes stick out super wide, which probably helps this velociraptor be far more agile and quick. And some iconic texturing along the back of the neck. Let's mechanize this spider and create a steel elemental. Start with some metallic legs to replace these flimsy ones, and change that spider face to a cyborg one. Who needs 8 eyes when you have one high-tech visual processor? Don't forget to copy over the legs to finish that sleek steel stature. I'm not sure if this is more or less scary than a normal spider. This one might want to take over the world. A real pig is heavy and is going to be ready to roll around in some mud. We need a larger, chunkier snout, and the pig ears are going to extend much higher for a solid floppy point. Add on some actual glutes. Tiny little tail curl. Now we need a hunk of a body, and a real pig definitely has kneecaps. And the split toes. Classic. This rabbit will become our jackalope. Stand this hair up on 2 legs like so. Give it a little extra length to its height. Now we'll need to adjust those ears to make room for antlers. Add in those antlers sticking out of its head and some real creepy red eyes. The most useless item in the game. Well, I hate that name for the little dude, so I'll be turning this golden hoe into an OP Reaper of Death. First, this little farm tool needs to become a big blade for stealing souls. Then we'll grab some wood and use it to house this little spirit, create a ghostly frame equipped with its own grim hood. Of course, we can't forget its gold-tipped arms, and a cute little golden backpack to hold what it will soon harvest. Let's turn this guardian into the ruler of the prehistoric seas, the Megalodon. This body shape may look like a shark, but the Megalodon had a massive bite radius, and outsized any modern-day shark. We're going to need lots of teeth, though not all 276 of the Megalodons. Color in this king, and he's ready to rule the ocean. Now we can turn this creeper into a creeping vines monster. Thin out his body for the base stem here. Going to need a much larger head. We'll start adding the roots and leaves that just need a little shaping like so. Now this head needs some eyes and a big mouth full of sharp chomping teeth. Can't forget to finish off those roots for moving and grooving. And with a bunch of thorns, this creeping vines is ready to rock. Let's turn this ghast into an elder ghast. This ghast is going to be ancient, so we'll cover it in tons of extra tentacles all over its body and give it a mouth full of extra teeth, toss on some color and extra eyes to make it into a proper elder ghast. Now I'm going to turn a cherry log into a cherry allay, a cherry. I'm going to use the cherry log bark to make this crown shape, make these 2 white allay eyes, then start to build out the body from there. It's going to need wings, and I'm going to use these cherry saplings to make them. Now I'm going to turn the crown part into a flower crown. Look at that, gorgeous. Texture in these dots all across the mob to fit with the cherry tree theme, then make this one branch, kind of like a horn coming out of the
the top. Now for these little bark claws and toes, and the cherry log mob is looking fly. But let's see if it looks good in game. Most witches we've made are old and gross, but what if we made a youthful witch? Start by making that hat giant, covering her face with green eyes and eyelashes hidden under. This witch will keep the green and purple color palettes, but with a fashionable approach. No witch is complete without their magic broom to fly around on. She's gonna commit some dark and nefarious deeds, I'm sure. Now the Ender Dragon is probably the coolest mob in Minecraft, but I'll make it even better. We're going to make it the best mob ever. From the horns to the wings, the dragon will get a total redesign. Even these feet are getting totally remade with awesome dragon claws. I also am going to give it spines just like this. Now, time to get to work with these better wings. I also find the dragon colors pretty boring, so let's give it purple scales and these magical spikes. I was not joking about the wings, just look at this. The white and bright purple designs are really making it all come together nicely. And the eyes, they are popping for my last plan. I'll duplicate the heads and turn it into a 5-headed dragon. I don't think I've ever spent this long making a mob, but it turned out insane. Let's see how it looks in game. We'll use this golem to make Frankenstein's monster. Give him a more pale skin tone, thicken up those eyebrows, his simple hair tufts on top of his head, and one of these Frankenstein bolts that is basically holding everything together, I think. And the monster is normally wearing pants with a ripped t-shirt. Add some more bolts here down the side, and the sweet Frankenstein bracers. The reason we all go to the nether, here's the netherite pickaxe. Immediately, we're gonna bring this little guy to life by adding some eyes. Remold and squish the handle so we can redistribute it into a leg and another leg. Now let's pick some character building eyebrows and we're good to go. We'll make this creeper into a diamond creeper. First we'll stretch it up and give it some heavy stomping feet. Change that creeper texture to diamond and grow some diamond spines out of its back and body. Looking shiny and sharp. This mushroom is gonna be turned into a whole cow fungus colony. Add some more red mushrooms and more mushrooms. Oh, and you guessed it, even more mushrooms. You think that's enough mushrooms? All right. Just one last one for good measure. This mushroom is basically its own ecosystem. And lastly, this wolf will be the biggest dragon yet, a titan. To be a titan, this wolf needs to be huge. Some massive tusks, spines all along the back of that big body. We'll give it a ton of extra spines on its head too. You know, those spins and spines make this guy flare up even bigger. Let's turn this golem creepy by making it a broken golem. We'll rearrange some bits and pieces here, give it some super big eyes. That expression is giving me chills, man. Add some vines atop that, too big of a head, and he's ready to go, I think. Instead of summoning things, this evoker will be deleting them as a deleter. Now, an evoker looks cool, but how about an alien suit? Add some alien features like antenna and give him a cool gun to do all of his deleting with. Now, for the fox. They might be cute, but we can do better. I want to make a more realistic looking fox. So let's give it a more accurate snout. And now the eyes. Not like that, it's not a spider. There we go. That's better. These whiskers have got to be looking fresh. And the ears, pointy. Now, for that coat. Foxes have almost a mane of white fur, so I gave it one. And also some little paws, just like this. For the tail, I made sure it was big and fluffy, with a white gradient. And now, that fox is complete. Let's see how much better it looks in Minecraft. This chicken will be our chicken commander. Starting with the head, we'll switch up the colors and give it more detail. Now let's buff up our commander. An extra muscular torso with armor to match. And we'll buff up the arms and legs to match as well. Some feathery textures and extra sharp claws. That's one beefy chicken. The husk could be way cooler, so we're gonna revamp it. I'll start by giving the husk more of a burnt skin. And now that we have this burnt husk corpse, we need to warp it in bandages. Wrap it up. Now this is starting to look like a real, authentic mummy. And that red eye would make me really not want to see a bunch of these guys roaming around the desert. I also went ahead and added some loose bandages hanging off of its arms, and there you have it, the better mummified husk. Let's make this slime into an elite devouring slime. We'll squash this little guy flat and start spreading him out like so. Add and stretch out a couple more bits and pieces to plan out the shape of our slime. Now we can reinflate our slime into its proper sludgy self and start shaping. We'll need a lot more details and some slime blocks to get the oozing shape of this guy just right, building them up all over its body like a huge pile of slime. Then it's time to add in teeth, And it's gonna be a lot. A little more slime so we can give it a pair of eyes, and top it off with a huge pair of arms and sticky hands reaching out to grab you. Let's turn this strider into a tall strider. Of course, to be tall, those legs need some length. Now we'll turn those hairs into flowing locks of lava. Look at that fiery mane. It's time to light up our Minecraft world with a torch. We'll start by extending out the stick and using it as a frame. Let's lay out the bases for our legs and get to work on those. Stretch them out, light them up, and spread those fires. One face later, and we're ready to turn up the heat. My favorite block was always obsidian, so let's make it into a volcanic snail. I want the obsidian to be the shell, so I'll start by making this pointy shell shape. Pointy shell shape. Shell shape. Oh, it's hard to say. Then I'll bring the magma block in here. It'll be the other main part of the mob. Here we go. The goofy snail shape. I promise we'll fix it up. I'll start working on the head, making it this dark red color instead. And like I said, the obsidian will be the shell. So I'm going to give it a shell's spiral texture. And now the coolest part. An erupting volcano opening in the top of its shell. I definitely did not take inspiration from a certain magma snail in Pokemon. But you know what? I'll go ahead and say it. I think mine is the best magma snail out there. But you be the judge of that. Let's check it out in Minecraft. First, let's remake this bat into Dracula. Starting with his head, we'll give it that lifeless white Dracula skin color, his classic pointy ears, sharp, slicked back black hair, and of course his red, blood-hungry eyes. Then we'll quickly open up his mouth to build his Dracula fangs. And Dracula's also always shockingly well dressed in a black suit with white undershirt and red cuffs, with a massive collar that comes up off of his cape. Then of course we can't forget to attach. Now we'll make this blaze into an omega blaze. To make this blaze stand out, we'll start with rearranging these blaze rods to circle around the head and double it up to give it to the top. Now we can take a copy of the head and start making a flame. Get those bright fiery colors. Perfect. If we shrink it down a little, we can fit it between the blaze rods. Then we can make similar flames to fill the rest of the spaces like flames of a blazing sun. Time to make this shape a steel-studded warrior. Let's give it some higher defense with a steel helmet to spice things up. Give it horns. This is no ordinary baby sheep. Let's light it up in full steel wool armor. Now you're ready to ride into battle, though you still look a tad bit derpy. We could remake this witch into Wednesday from the Addams Family. First, replace this head with Wednesday's balloon-shaped head and a pale skin, very droopy dark black hair, and the knots of braids. Simple green t-shirt, buttons up the center, and Wednesday's massive white cuffs with her droopy eyelids that give her a very sleepy look. This Iron Golem is going to become the Overlord of Darkness. This is going to be the Shadow Elemental. Iron isn't going to cut it. Let's make this Golem's body a super strong dark stone. Sculpt some jagged spikes all along the body. Then we'll carve in a bright fiery face, lighten up some veins of energy, almost like prying obsidian. Add crystals to the feet and hands to form some claws. This shadowy behemoth is looking ready to go. I guess let's remake this sheep into Jabba the Hutt, because he's kind of liver-like. Fatten up his brain, then fatten the body and plug it into his fat head. Now give him a slimy slug green texture and extend the slug a long ways out. Then pull back on the last couple pieces of sheep to make the boils on Jabba the Hutt. A drowned is just a boring water zombie. Let's make it better. It doesn't look decayed enough, so let's distort the body to fix it. This messed up jaw is going to be perfect for our better drown. And they aren't seeing barbers underwater. Let's make the hair long. I like to think of drowns as dead pirates. So here's your hat, Captain. Now, for the body. I added some ribs like this, and an arm like that, then gave him a super deadly sword. To make it even better, I added some moss growing all over it. The best part now, this drowned will have a little parrot buddy, and this pirate parrot will also have a hat. Now, let's see what this sunken sailor looks like in the actual ocean. We can make this chicken way more realistic. Turn all these blocks into a fluffy feather body. Give some splashes of color all over, get that red comb and cute little eyes, some proper chicken feet, and add the coloring to make the body look like it's covered in feathers. What's the opposite of a piglet? A foxlet, of course. We'll put these floppy ears on top of its head. Give it some foxy colors, a little shading to make the perfect foxlin look. Let's give it a little blue mask and gloves. And now our foxlin is ready to swipe all your stuff. Let's take this cave spider and turn it into a giant venomous arachnid. Turn it blue and give it a black widow pattern. If spiders weren't gross enough, this one's legs are gonna be super long. Up the saturation and this thing is looking like a natural predator. Give it some fangs to match its normal size. Now let's see what it'll catch as its prey for dinner.